Is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
An opening day win. How about that, Bump? Yesterday we talked about, look, we don't want to be picky. We don't want to be demanding. But a win for opening day sure would be great. And the Mariners delivered late, mind you, but it was fun.
It took a while. I was there, taking it in with the people, walking around, taking it all in, and it was fun, man. It was a great environment.
Yeah.
People were hyped. The vibes were good, and then the 8th inning, the middle of the order, got clutch.
Okay, so set the scene and tell me, because I was not there. I had to run back home, and then I could not get back out. I was like, I'm not going to get parked.
Yeah.
I'm going to be stuck in traffic. I'm just going to have to watch from home. So I was so jealous listening to Maura and Salk and G this morning when they were talking. I was like, I'm so mad that I missed out. What was I doing? I should have gone back out. But you were there. Okay, so tell me about it.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. You just felt the excitement. It's opening day. This is the third one in a row I've been to. Typically, I'm the guy who's at home and is going to watch it on TV.
Sports Illustrated. That's not me.
That kind of sounded like you. Was
it
that
wasn't
more?
me. Who was she?
But yeah, I walk around. I do what, or I did what I do at the Seahawks games. Right. I start up in the press box and then I make a lap, and I just want to feel the excitement of the people. I actually stopped at the third baseline and watched the beginning of the game, like innings 1 through 3 or 4, with a guy named Jeff, random guy named Jeff.
What?
I met from Yakima. We're sitting there chopping it up.
Night?
That night, yeah.
So, you walked by him, and Jeff's just hanging out.
He's hanging out. I saw a spot, where you can stand and watch the game.
Sure.
I grabbed me a Modelo, and I'm sitting there, and I started chopping it up with a guy named Jeff
Shout
from
out
Yakima.
Jeff.
Yeah, he was by himself, too. I'm like, cool, let's kick it.
I hope you enjoyed the game, Jeff.
Yeah, and watched the game, and then as the third or fourth rolled around, I made a lap. I went towards the beer garden, met up with NASA Chobe, our producer for Seahawks Radio, watched the game from there, continued my lap. Like, I finished the game. I started on the third baseline. I finished at the first baseline, and it was just awesome, and
You
the vibes
took
were
in
good.
all
Yeah,
the
I took it all in.
scenes.
Took it all in. By myself, dolo. By myself.
What was the craziest moment? It had to be the 2-run home.
Oh, it was a home run, and I was in the beer garden when it went down. So I got to really feel the excitement. It was awesome, man. People were excited, and there was a lot of positive talk about the team because we sit here and we will critique everything that goes down with this squad. They didn't do enough. What are they going to do? But the conversations I had with random people, they were genuinely excited about this team and the roster. And I think that has to be the right approach. And they delivered last night. And Randy I told you about his passion yesterday. He had the illest, I don't even call it a bat flip, a bat throw
spike
that you've seen in a long time. So, yeah, it was a great time last night.
Let's start there. Let's talk about a few of these plays. We'll start with Randy Arozarena's game-tying home run.
Again, the 0-2 on the way to Randy. Swinging a well-hit ball deep to left field. This game is tied. Goodbye, baseball. Off the facing of the upper deck. And in the upper deck in left field. And that was a bullet to left. Randy Arozarena with his first home run of the season. And this game is tied at 2. Holy smokes, what a shot by Randy.
Now, the A's, as everyone knows, because we all watched this game, struck early with their second home run, and it was just kind of like not a gut punch. It's the opening day, 1 of 162. You can kind of take it, but I thought, come on. It took forever to get that tying run to make it 1-1, and now they've got the lead again. I loved that the Mariners had a quick response. And you're right, the energy from Randy, that kind of spike the bat and run the bases. I thought, yes.
Man, he turned on that thing, too. I mean, he got all of that, almost got to the upper deck over there in left field. And I watched the replay, and I heard Ryan Rowland describe it, and it's in slow motion. He goes, his eyes get big, and he just turns on him, man. He was locked in, and that's the type of passion I love out of athletes, and I hope I see more of that from
He
Randy.
swung that one like he was holding the basketball in between his elbow and his bicep.
That drill.
By the
It
way,
worked.
when we saw him doing that drill, hit it to the warning track.
Yeah, I mean, pretty good. Pretty good.
Imagine being that strong and that good at baseball. You got a basketball tucked into the crook of your elbow while you swing a bat, and you still get it to the warning track.
It's nice when the drills show up in the game. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. Speaking of someone happy to show up in a game, and probably really grateful that it's happening in the first game of the season, Jorge Polanco, coming off his worst year. Why did we doubt you, Jorge? Go ahead, 2-run, home run, bottom of the 8th.
And the 2-2 to Polanco, swing and a drive, deep to straightaway center. Blade going back to the one, he tracked to the wall, leaps up, it's gone. Goodbye, baseball. Jorge Polanco with a 2-run drive unties it. It's the Mariners 4, the A's 2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jorge Polanco's first home run of the season, second for the Mariners, and both coming here in the bottom of the 8th. 3 runs are in. The Mariners lead it 4-2.
Hear those cheers in the background? Jorge, after the game, talked about how great it was to hear that support.
It feels great. It feels great. I love it. I love it. They give me a lot of support on that, and I appreciate that.
My lasting memory of Jorge Polanco last year, no matter what he did, and he had some cool moments, is obviously later in the season getting booed by fans. And just thinking, I was at a game where that happened, and I felt physically uncomfortable.
Yeah, you felt bad for the man. And then hearing everything that he went through last year, he toughed it out, as we call in football. He thugged that thing out, man. His knee was jacked up, and he was dealing with apparently some other issues, and he wasn't his true self. So I could imagine how gratifying that is for him to go out opening day and deliver and be clutch. And the contrast in responses, right, are reactions. You got Randy going nuts. Polanco just cool as heck, I'm around the bases, dap him up. I'm good to go. I love the variety in personality that we saw last night.
All right, let's go to a bit more of what we loved before we get to some things where it's like, I didn't like this, but I can live with it. A bit more of what I love. No errors.
Yeah.
No errors. One for the A's, allowed Bliss to advance to third. I forget. I think it was on the first baseman. I'm blanking. But otherwise, not only no errors for the Mariners, good defensive play from Bliss, from Crawford, obviously, a double play to close things out and end that game. Great play by Crawford. I was pleasantly surprised considering that just a week ago you and I were wondering, as was Brock and Salk and Wyman and Bob, all of us collectively, like, quite a few errors popping up in spring training. Is this going to be an infield that it's a defensive liability?
Yeah, I asked Ryan Rowland-Smith yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you treat the defensive struggles in spring training the way that football players do in preseason? Well, it's early. They don't have chemistry yet. They're going to figure this thing out. And it's hard to ignore. So to see that defensively they were solid is awesome, because you're looking at second base. What is Bliss going to look like? Is JP going to look like the guy we saw a couple years ago? Polanco at third base, what's that going to look like? So it was a nice, clean game for the most part, and we needed to see that early.
Speaking of Bliss, who we've mentioned a couple times, we started by talking about obviously Jorge Polanco's big night, how cool Arozarena's energy was, and just kind of like his passion for the game. Talked a little bit about the defense, key, no errors. Obviously JP closing it out with a double play. You mentioned Ryan Bliss. We talked a ton about Bliss yesterday. Bliss spoke with Wyman and Bob yesterday. I was so happy that he was such a spark plug for this team early, because you had said on, I believe, Monday, what if this guy ends up being really fun? What if we need to shift the way we look at Ryan Bliss instead of like, another second baseman with question marks? What if it's a young guy with potential?
Yeah, good start for Bliss. Obviously, there's a lot more baseball to be played, but all we have is one game to react to. And when you can leave this game and not be concerned about second base, not be concerned about shortstop, third base, that's how you want to start. So good for Bliss, man. Got on base a couple of times and just looked like a professional ball player. We saw glimpses of that last year, but you would assume that it's different for him getting the start on opening day. There's a different type of pressure. I'm sure his family was out there. Nice, clean game from Bliss. That's what we want to see. There will be errors. There will be mistakes, but you're 1-0. And you didn't do anything to hurt the team. Yeah,
speaking of errors, someone correcting me, the error, E2 was on the catcher throwing Bliss out.
Okay.
Let's go to, about 5 minutes here. We're not going to spend all 5 on it because obviously we want to celebrate a win. But maybe just some things where you thought, okay, I'm going to be watching for a bit of this in the series because, maybe it was a little like a yellow flag. Like you just kind of looked at it and thought, okay, I didn't love this. I'm not going to freak out, but I am going to kind of maybe track this going through the rest of this 4-game series. Is there anything that stands out to you?
I mean, your boy Tyler, going yard twice. You don't want to see that. And Logan played had a great game. Only gave up 2 hits. Really balanced attack when you look at the pitches he was throwing out there. he had himself a good game, but this is baseball. All it takes is one pitch over the plate to kind of not put a damper on things, but put a blemish on what you saw when we look at his overall performance last night. But that's really about it. The one thing that I didn't like is Tyler going yard twice.
I know some people, in fact, someone just texting into the Mac and Jacks text line, we're not quite sure why there was a bunt by Polanco.
Yeah.
He'd been your most effective hitter. You had runners on, and he did advance runners. Like, it was a somewhat effective sack bunt. I didn't really understand it either. I don't know that Dan Wilson, Curtis, do we know offhand if Dan Wilson explained it or was asked about it after the game?
I don't quite know.
Either way, I think it's one of those things where it's like, it wasn't a make or break moment and they still won, so no one's combing for Dan Wilson's explanation about the strategy there. Plus, Polanco had a big night, so good job on the sack bunt, Polanco. We'll let it go. I'm also going to go to runners left on bases through the first 7 or so. Obviously, with the 8th, no runners left on because you drove them in. Great. Maybe you make up some ground there, but I think you had 4 in scoring position, including 2, I want to say, in the 6th. Yeah, it happens. You had more hits, you had more runners, great. But because you won, I can easily look past that. Still just kind of one thing that certainly through 7, I thought, ooh, too much familiarity here.
Yeah, that's something we're used to. Tellez had an opportunity to advance some runners or bring them in. Julio did, and Bliss did as well. So you look at the 3 names that are there, you want Julio to be the guy to bring them in. Tellez and Bliss kind of get a pass for the night or the next game or next couple of games, I want to say, because they're new to the squad. But, yeah, that's something that is too familiar and something that needs to be worked on. How do you work on that? I don't know. You don't swing harder. You don't try harder. You just kind of get in your groove and put bat on ball, make good contact, and push it out into the left center or right center. So, no, that's something that we need to look at. You had 7 runners left on base as well. All right. You produced 4 runs. It was a bit dramatic. It took a couple bombs. And I think you put in the show email. It's funny that bombs won the game, but we know the philosophy of this team is kind of just put the ball in play and advance these runners. But they showed some pop, and that's something that we wanted to see, especially out of Arozarena. Like, Polanco, that's a plus because he struggled last year. But Arozarena, you felt like he needed to have some pop and show that he did last night.
I would love to see, in terms of kind of as we get through April here, so obviously we have 161 games to play, but I would, speaking to that, love to see, some singles, some doubles, kind of like the type of baseball that feels slightly more sustainable. Impossible to do, impossible to hit in baseball. It's so incredibly difficult. But I think that was the conversation we'd been having and fans had been having about what might be different with Dan Wilson. Well, it sure seems like they'd love to take advantage of some of that. You're right. We didn't really see that. This was kind of like a Mariners formula. Like when they won last year, this is what it looked like.
Yeah.
This is what it looked like when they won. It was maybe you score late, maybe your run production is in an inning, maybe 2. It's usually bombs, solo shots, maybe a 2-run homer, and then your pitching is elite enough to hold the other team to 2 or less. Like that was the formula for winning games last year. It's what we saw in this one. Very okay with it. It's a great formula, but you want to be able to diversify that approach a little bit. I am going to add on, I mentioned that leaving runners stranded through the first 7 was one of my negatives, one of my knocks. But the 541 says, well, base runners every inning, market improvement. So, look, there is a glass half full approach to take when you're looking at this one. Let's see. Let's come through the rest of 866-979-3776. Any update on Logan's power source? Sounds like from Ryan Divish, just a bad bruise.
Yeah, just it's going to be a little purple today.
Yeah, going to have a tough time with that one.
I felt that one.
Yeah.
I felt that. Me and Jeff were standing next to each other when that happened.
I'm
like, ooh. I'm like, he going to feel that one, Jeff. He's like, yeah, man. That's one of those
where he sees you go, youch.
I love dudes being bros. It's one of my favorite stories to hear about is just kind of like random strangers. And in my experience, when I hear about it, it's like, it's just mostly dudes just running into each other and go, yeah, I hung out with this guy. We drank 4 beers together, and then I never saw him again.
So didn't exchange numbers or anything.
Last Friday, exactly.
No efforts to make a friendship.
You don't even know this guy's name after that.
We were dudes being bros for 20 minutes.
Last Friday, I went to March Madness over at Climate Pledge because Arizona was playing. The guy sitting next to me, he wasn't wearing any team gear. I just asked him, I was like, so who you rooting for? He's like, nah, I'm just here for Ball. And I was like, Ball is life. We shared that moment.
That's awesome.
This has never happened to me before ever in my life. The closest, you can guess where it happened. Where did I become? Yes.
Yeah.
At like 1 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where did I become best friends with a girl randomly for 20 minutes? In the bathroom when we both just like did our makeup together. You talk to each other and you're, oh my God, no, I love your shirt. I love your shirt. Where'd you get it? Oh my God. And then you never talk to each other again. That's the closest I've gotten to dudes being bros.
Yep.
But I feel like it's the similar sentiment. She was my Jeff.
Yeah.
You know?
She's your Jeff.
We had a moment.
Jeff's a good guy.
Yeah. All right, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bob and Stacy.
Curtis, before you get to, hang on, pause. Before you get to that first headline, Kevin and Callie, is anyone going to address the elephant in the room? You're right, Kevin, we have not so far. Curtis was wrong.
So
off base. Can you imagine, Bump? Like, I can't even fathom. It couldn't be me. Seeing a team with Randy Arozarena, Julio Rodriguez, and going, I think it's going to be Rowdy Tellez with the first home run of the season.
Hit like 30 bombs a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he did.
Curtis.
Why not?
I will say this, though. The fact that he was up in the 4th inning had you shaking in your boots.
I wanted that so bad. I turned to my dad and I was like, hey, you got to look out for this guy.
Yeah, when a guy's at the bottom of the order like he was, the fact that it kind of came around to put him up in the 4th inning. I had an old high school friend text me when he came up and was like, bro, I was listening to you guys during the week. I went and placed a bet that Rowdy Tellez would hit a home run in the 4th inning. I was like, well, I mean, appreciate the listenership. I can't take responsibility for your loss.
I will give Curtis credit for this. It's kind of like when you root against Duke or you root against, back in the day, the Patriots. It's just that most of the time Curtis is sincerely right about things. He's great with predictions. He's like a sports encyclopedia. And so when he gets it wrong, you just kind of do a victory lap for no reason. But I'm not going to lie. I was shaking in my boots. I was a little bit nervous when Rowdy went up to the plate, and I thought, no way.
Well, the fact that he was the last batter of the inning, too,
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know if he's going to get up here. Oh, my gosh, he's up. But,
all right, first headline.
Headline number 1, the Titans are attending a second private workout with Cam Ward today in Miami. What's the real headline?
Going to take a wild guess that a second workout leads to a first overall pick.
What did they miss? Like, what didn't you see during the first workout that you needed to go and see, like, let me see you throw that post one more time? Watch the film. You had a workout. I guess, man. Go ahead and do your thing. Cross more T's, dot more I's, have more conversations. I don't know. Just go ahead and make the pick. Don't mess this up.
Okay, sincere question. If you were a GM for a team with a first overall pick, and let's say you knew nothing about Cam Ward, which you know a lot about him, but let's say you didn't, and you just kind of know from the outside looking in, and you're getting a guy in, and you're like, I'm staking the future of my franchise. This is my first overall pick. This is a draft day moment. I'm going to use a first overall pick on this quarterback. What's something that you want to ask or see from him? Like, if you're in charge of this workout, what's like the 1 or 2 most important things when you're like, I need to know this? And I think this would be most telling about like someone who can lead.
It's more conversation. The play speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I would ask him about a time in the huddle where an offensive coordinator called a play that he did not agree with. And did he relay that play to the team with confidence? And because you're in the huddle sometimes, and I've been in huddles where a play is called and we're like, what the heck are we doing?
Yeah.
Yet we still got to go. And it's up to the quarterback to kind of instill that confidence. Like, all right, boys, doesn't matter. Let's go get it. So just walk me through that situation. What play was called and what would you have want to be called?
I would set up an elaborate remember Oprah had that show, What Would You Do? I would set up one of those moments. I'd have like, like an actor playing a janitor who's in there and make 1 or 2 of the other players like throw stuff down on the ground and laugh at them and like see like, will this player who's in there when no one's looking at him, will he go up and help this person? Will he defend this person? Will he help him pick up this trash? Like, does he like kind of look at those guys and like have a little bit of judgment? I'd have hidden cameras. It would be What Would You Do?
You go in depth with that thing.
I would hire actors to carry out entire things. Now, would I be a successful GM? No, absolutely not. I would tank a franchise. But I that part of that human psychology, who's someone's true character moment for those high draft picks is sincerely very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you.
Headline rewrites.
Feels like we do this headline every few months,
Yes,
but
that is
Adam
correct.
Silver at the NBA Board of Governors meeting said this in the wake of the Boston Celtics sale about NBA expansion.
We want to make sure we put teams in a position, particularly as we're setting the price, to be in a position to be competitive, economically successful, and just as importantly for the other teams, successful on the floor. And the issue I would not have anticipated at the time I sort of began talking about the timeline is how much unknown there is about local media right now. Having said that, though, I would just say again to our many fans in Seattle, and I hear from them often, and the legacy of the Sonics is still very strong, and it's a fantastic basketball market, is that we are very focused on it. The fact I think that I'm not being more sort of forthcoming publicly doesn't mean we're not studying it very intensively. We don't take those fans for granted.
What's the real headline?
Seattle is a dangling carrot, and the NBA will bring basketball back when we're all vegetables.
What's taking so long? I understand there's a process that has to go down, but it's been a long time. Seattle has a great reputation when it comes to basketball in general. There's a lot of hoopers that are produced here. The fan base will support it. Let's just get this thing over with. Vegas is ready and primed to go. Seattle's ready to go. I don't understand what the holdup is. Obviously, there are things that have to go down that I'm not aware of. I'm not in the circle, but it just seems like we keep having the same conversation every single year.
Yes. 360, that sounded like setting the table for an apology for not getting a team. My response to that, and feel free to let me know what your interpretation was. I don't think this is Adam Silver priming fans to not get a team. I think it's Adam Silver. Seattle is undoubtedly, when they expand, when they add to, undoubtedly going to be one of those two teams. You cannot expand without adding that market. It's also it's a pretty decently sized market when you consider the geography typically of professional sports leagues.
Yeah.
That you typically do cover a pretty big media market, almost the entirety of the Pacific Northwest. I know the Blazers are there, but still. That being said, it's more of like expansion itself is something we don't want to commit to, and we're not adding a single timeline because we don't want to be accountable to that because it's something we're not prioritizing, frankly. That's how I feel that it is it's expansion itself is being tabled, pushed back, constantly can kick down the road.
Yeah, it is. And I see it as a good thing. You grow the game, or you bring the game back to a place that can support it. You take it to Las Vegas, which they now have a football team. They're going to have a baseball team. Basketball is next. You have a hockey team. It just feels right, man. And why is this taking so long? I don't know, but stop playing with our emotions, please.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3. Decent night of Sweet 16 hoops on Thursday with number 1 Florida advancing to play number 3 Texas Tech. Number 1 Duke moving on to play number 2 Alabama in the Elite Eight. Yeah, that was a tough watch. What's the real headline?
There are no Cinderellas remaining, but honestly, the battle between mean stepsisters is pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Texas Tech Arkansas was a really good game last night.
Yeah, that was a good one. Your boy Love dropped 35 for you, though, Curtis. He tried his best.
He held his own last night. I was proud of the effort he put forth, but Cooper Flag, there was no stopping him.
Flag dropped 30 as well.
So bad.
And it's crazy seeing some of these scores for men's basketball. Over the last 10 years, I believe the average score in college hoops for men's is like 75 points. We got 100 to 93, 113 to 88, 85 to 83. The three-point is real. The tempo is real. And this is fun. I mean, we all assume that most of these teams would be in the position that they are in, right? But no, great night of basketball, lots of points. But that Arkansas-Texas Tech game was fire.
The player everyone's overlooking had a big game last night, and no, it's not Jorge Polanco. That's next.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And with you on our side, we are going to end animal cruelty around the globe. Join us. Humane World for Animals. The end of animal cruelty.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Just Cause Legal knows the value of standing up for what's right. If you've been involved in a car crash, Just Cause Legal is here to fight for you with an aggressive team dedicated to securing the compensation you deserve. Just Cause Legal makes the process as painless as possible. Don't wait. Time is critical. Get the help needed today. Visit justcauselegal.com or call 253-859-8899 and meet your legal lifesavers. Just Cause Legal. Fighting for you.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines and I was able to sleep through the night. And that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Yeah, so yesterday was obviously all about Jorge Polanco. 3 for 3, sack bunt, 2-run home run. He's the story of the night, rightfully so. But don't forget about Randy. I'm going to start it with this one. Yesterday, Bump, you and I talked with Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill. Among the questions we asked him was, hey, Randy was a midseason trade acquisition. He comes here and, solid, but what's the version of Randy that the Mariners are expecting? Like, we all know Randy Arozarena before he got here, but what do the Mariners want? What are they expecting? What's a good season? What do they expect from him?
I think they are looking for him to be a middle of the order bat, to be a productive bat. What does that mean numbers-wise? I don't know. That's where I don't know either. I don't know what that looks like. He's going to be a 20-20 guy because he's always a 20-20 guy. He's going to get you 20 home runs. He's going to get you 20 stolen bases. But I'm really optimistic about especially the first 5 in this lineup and how it lays out. Like, I think Robles is going to be a productive player. I don't think he's going to match what he did in September last year because it was all worldly. But I think he'll be productive. I think Julio's going to have a really good year. I think Cal is Cal, Arozarena, and Rayleigh. Like, that is a legit first 5 in the order. And Arozarena, I think, is a big part of that. I mean, he's going to be right in the middle of everything. And I think they're looking for production. And if Robles is doing his thing and Julio's doing his thing, he's going to get a ton of chances to drive in runs.
I don't mean to be dramatic, but Randy Arozarena is OPSing over 1,500 a game into the season.
That would be a record if he keeps that pace up.
That would be a phenomenal.
That's like prime Barry Bonds.
Ted Williams couldn't touch it, couldn't dream of it. No, it was he obviously 1 for 3 with that game-tying home run, but when that happened, first Mariners home run of the season, Bump, I immediately thought to that conversation we had with Gary of like, God, we all talk about Julio, and collectively we'll talk about the outfield, but we do overlook Randy sometimes.
Sometimes we do. I think he needs to be Julio's right-hand man. And sometimes the right-hand man leads the charge at times. That's why you got your ace. You got your best friend, Katie, right? Sometimes she leads in some situations and you lead. Mine is Elmer, my homie Elmer. Sometimes he does it, sometimes I do it. And there's a chemistry and a vibe that bounces back and forth between your right-hand man. That's what he needs to be. Yeah. And we saw it at times last year. Again, the biggest acquisition midseason when it comes to bats in MLB. It's not just for the team. In MLB, that was the biggest pickup. And what the Mariners have preached us all offseason is wait until you see a full season of this guy. Wait until you see a healthy Polanco. And it's funny that it delivered on the very first day. It's probably not going to happen today. Some tells me Randy ain't going to go yard today. Some tells me Polanco ain't going to go yard today.
You know what? Donut bet.
Donut bet?
Randy Arozarena goes yard today.
Again.
If he does, I'll bring in donuts on Monday. If he doesn't, I'll still bring it.
You still bring it. Okay.
We'll have a nice.
Right.
Oh, but Thursday. Right. Thursday. I'm not in until Thursday. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what he does. But it's nice that they delivered on the first day. Yeah. Still a lot of baseball left. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say this phrase, but we're not supposed to say it. It's early, but I'm saying it's early in a different way, right? We still want to see the production that we hope to see out of that guy.
Sure. I liked what Dan Wilson. I know I'm focusing on Randy and in doing so talking about another player, but it's for a reason. You mentioned kind of being Julio's right-hand man. Another thing that all Mariners fans have wanted to see with this lineup is just lots of support. The idea of just beating down a pitcher in these at-bats, like the idea of the heart of the order being deadly, right? You know that feeling when, like, I still remember, and it did sting us, but I still remember looking every time in that series, ALDS series against the Astros, looking at who was up next and going, the heart of the order is legit here. Like, I don't know how you're going to get through this. And by the end of it, they did not. But I'd love to see that for the Mariners. I can deal with massive question marks late in the order. no problem. Not uncommon at all. I can deal with a platoon, at first or whatever it is. Not a problem. Happens for a lot of teams. But I'd love to have more than just a person that we're all turning to kind of be the savior. And Dan Wilson talked about, speaking of the heart of the order, Cal's AB right before Arozarena and how important that kind of succession is.
Yeah, I mean, that's always huge. You've got the long at-bats. You've got, when you have runners on that are putting pressure, and you got a lot of throwovers, you got a lot of distraction on the bases. All those things take their toll. And, we talk about little things a lot, and those are the kind of things that can make a big difference in a game. And being able to, for Randy, that ball was hit like a rocket. It was just smoked. I'm sure that had a lot to do with the fact that Cal had put up that really good at-bat prior to that. And again, that's what grinding out your at-bats means, and that's what the guys have been doing.
Now, Cal struck out. He was the first batter faced by Leclerc, but then you have an 11-pitch at-bat. Then comes Randy.
Yeah, that wears you down a bit. And Dan was right. I mean, that ball was hammered. I believe the exit velo was like 112 or something like that. He's in the moment, took advantage of Cal's at-bat. And that's something that I think we've been eager to see, right? Is that, yeah, Cal may not have gotten on base, but, man, when you have a pitcher up there, 11 pitches, he gets worn out a bit, the combinations, the timing's going to be off. You have a chance to see the pitches when you're sitting in the on deck. It's all connected, and I think sometimes that's lost, and I think sometimes that is what hurt Julio last year, is that he wasn't getting these quality at-bats surrounding him, allowing him to go up there and relax and see some pitches. So nice to see. Silly drill work for Randy. That silly basketball drill worked for that man. It did.
Well, and I give, too, a lot of credit to tough outs as well, right? Like Randy Arozarena did not get an out. It was a bomb. But it felt like last season, this was honestly, Cal's AB was probably another moment we could have added to our liked it from last night, even though it was striking out. There were too many moments in last season's games. You flash back to like a 14 strikeout game, 12 strikeout game, too many easy outs. I mean, you'd have, 4 or 5 pitch out, like just nothing, not putting up too much of a challenge at all. And it just felt like they were eating away, and it didn't matter where in the order. Tougher outs. Give me a couple tough outs a game at least, and wear down those pitchers, and those are easier strikeouts to accept. Not all strikeouts are the same, and I can very much accept that strikeout from Cal because it impacts the game, right? And
it's like running the ball 10 times,
right?
Just all right, man. We're getting a yard, all right. We're probably at the punt, but we're going to be disciplined with the run. We're going to keep at it because we're going to wear you down. That's what it does to pitchers, and it allows guys like Randy to get up there and to swing away.
All right, so a couple things still coming your way. We are still pretty heavy baseball, obviously, leading into Game 2 of the season, Luis Castillo's first start. But we've got MMQB and Sports Illustrated's Conor Orr joining us at 11. We've seen a couple negative outside reviews. Benjamin Solak, Mike Renner, of the Seahawks free agency moves so far. Conor not only has a pretty positive spin, but has a really interesting take on Sam Darnold. So that's coming up at 11. Before we get to that, though, we're going to stick with some sentimentality from baseball. Bump, yesterday we kept talking about how opening night we can kind of let ourselves be emotional, right? Like it's for some reason, part of the ceremony of opening day in MLB is not just a game preview, but being grateful in a way that baseball is back, no matter where your team is. White Sox fans yesterday were I love opening day.
Come on now, White Sox.
Opening day, bless up, won't he do it? And so we're going to take a kind of emotional approach, sentimental, have some fun with our next segment. With baseball back, I'm so glad, so grateful for blank. That's next.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
How does the McDonald-Schneider tandem look like the Carroll-Schneider tandem in terms of figuring out who they want to have play here?
Every day at 7:45.
I think it's a little bit different, Salk, because certainly they both say the same thing. We want guys that love football, but the optics and the lens through which Pete Carroll looks at that and Mike McDonald look at that are different because their wiring is very, very different.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
Through March 31st, save double your sales tax from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy easy zero down, zero payments, and zero interest, same as cash, 12-month financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com to save double today.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
We are Seattle Sports. 7:10 a.m. on your radio. Streaming through the Seattle Sports app. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
Jay Leno, live Wednesday, April 9th at Muckleshoot Event Center. Come laugh it up with one of comedy's living legends. No politics, no lectures, just jokes, and they're all clean. Get your tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com. Jay Leno live Wednesday, April 9th, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Muckleshoot. Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
To me, the LJ way is to provide an experience that people really enjoy being a part of. And they enjoy being a part of it because they're getting great service. They're talking with somebody that actually they feel cares about them. They care about what their impression is going to be walking away. It's also understanding you're now part of our family, and thank you for doing the business with us. And this is how we're going to show our appreciation through customer service. We're going to show our appreciation with taking care of you if you ever have an issue. Majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, we've tried to shake.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Paid political advertisement. Did you know insurance companies don't always pay what they should when your car is totaled? Too many Washington drivers are forced to accept lowball payouts or pay out of pocket for repairs their insurance should cover. But SB 5721 can change that. This bill holds insurers accountable, ensuring they provide fair vehicle valuations and cover the full cost of repairs. It also creates a simple, fast dispute resolution process so you don't have to fight alone. Stand up for fair coverage. Visit fairautoclaims.com to contact your lawmakers and tell them support Senate Bill 5721, sponsored by the Washington Independent Collision Repairers Association.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
With baseball back, it reminds you how grateful, how excited you are for certain things. Now, this could be something with this particular team. It could be with the league as a whole, something that you're very interested in this season. Can't wait to watch it. It could be something about a game day experience. You can join the conversation on the Mac and Jacks text line 866-979-3776. We just wanted to carry over a tiny bit of sentimentality from last night's opening day festivities and figure out what all of us are so excited to experience for the next 161 games. Maybe it's garlic fries. Maybe it's watching whether Julio can be MVP. 866-979-3776. Text in now. Bump, what are you genuinely either grateful to have back, excited to see, eager to watch?
I frequent like 3 restaurants. It's either Moonshine.
I can already guess them.
It's Northern Republic in Mill Creek, or it's Cut Shop in Woodinville.
I was going to say whatever's at Echo.
And the Clubhouse in Echo. And when baseball season is going, you sit down at the bar top or at a restaurant, and you have the best conversations with people. Even if they're talking about how bad this player is, how the team isn't going to work, what needs to be done. Just the conversations are endless because you have a game almost every single day to reflect on and talk about. You can do it in football, but it's different because you have a week in between games. Things run dry. We've already talked about Geno and his red zone issues or whatnot. But in baseball, it's like every single day there's something new to talk about. And we talk for a living, right? And I like talking to people. I like getting people's perspectives. Even if I don't agree with them, I still want to hear what you have to say and how you view the team because it might unlock something in my brain, and I might see it your way, or I might develop an argument against yours that I'm going to use on the air, So that's what I like most about baseball season is that there's always new material to talk about. Even though the game, there isn't a play in baseball that I haven't seen before.
Right.
Every now and then in football, like we saw Saquon Barkley spin and jump backwards over somebody the other day, or during the season. You'll see some new things in football from now and then, but baseball is so routine, yet the conversations are so in depth and interesting. So that's what I love the most, is just talking to people about the Mariners when the season starts.
866-979-3776. Before I get to the Mac and Jacks text line, Ian, Curtis, what about you guys? What are you just kind of either grateful for, eager to watch, excited to have back, thinking about now that opening day officially has come and gone and we're staring at the rest of a full season?
Grateful to have that rhythm of the season back where no matter what you're doing, there's like always a game on, and getting back into just the flow of that where you know that there is another game to look forward to, and just kind of it's also a sign of summer is around the corner too. When this winter around here has been extra dreary, with the Seahawks not making the playoffs, the Mariners not making the playoffs, the Kraken not making the playoffs. Like it's been just kind of the doldrums around here, ever since the end of January or whatever. So just kind of having that to look forward to as well. That's just something that I love about baseball season.
I turned to my dad last night at the game after Randy tied it up. And I was like, we get to do this 161 more time.
Watch Randy hit a home run?
I'd love to see that.
162-0 starts last night.
Exactly.
I think that's my favorite part is just what Curtis was saying, the comfortability of every night I know I'm coming home, I've got the Red Sox at 4, and I've got the Mariners at 7.
We can do without the Red Sox, but it's fine.
Well, you asked me the question, I'm giving you my answer. Just like I'm going to follow my boys all season.
Yeah.
Like that's what I love.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. It's something about the routine that's really comforting, and I know that everyone goes through everyone has like ups and downs in life, and baseball kind of helps you through both. Like when you're on the upswing, when things are great, and when you're in a great place, baseball just adds some more color. It adds something to go to with family and friends. And I know there are a lot of people that, like, when you're at a time when you're like, I'm having trouble getting through this day, sometimes it helps to have one thing. And you guys can make fun of me or anyone else all you want, but sometimes that thing might be Real Housewives. Maybe it's a lame reality TV show. Maybe it's an old show that you watch a million reruns on and your friends make fun of you. For a lot of people, it is baseball. And you can think to yourself, I hate today. I could barely get out of bed. I'm having the worst time. I'm in a low. But at 6:40 or at 7:10 or maybe at 1:10, whatever it is, I got to watch and see if we win tonight. That does bring a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's awesome. My granddad, he lived until he was about like 103 years of age, and he used to sit in his chair every single day and just watch the Dodgers. He didn't do nothing else, right? He would eat, sleep, and sit on that lazy boy and just watch the Dodgers play. So he knew he can count on those guys.
I love it. Someone said, ready to relive memories from past with my dad to new ones with my daughter. Yes. Something about baseball and family is like so generational. It's maybe a sport more than almost any other where people talk about like almost like it's passed down, like the experience of enjoying it. So a season starts and maybe you think about people that have passed or people that you experience this with, and then you start thinking about like Bump. I know you've even talked about like, bringing your kids to the games and that's a different kind of experience than just going to maybe watch an NFL game. Hockey is really fun in person, but baseball's kind of sentimental.
No, baseball, you can have great conversations during the game. In football, you're kind of locked in, because it's start and stop is real quick, it's fast. In baseball, there's time in between innings, in between pitches when batters walk up or whatever. Out the dugout, it's just there's time to connect. And that's what I like the most. And I love, man, because I didn't grow up. I played baseball in high school, but I wasn't like a huge baseball fan until I moved to the state. And watching my sons get into it is awesome because I forced them to play baseball when they were little, and they were not having it. It was raining all the time, and they're like, I'm good. But the more I've gotten around the game over the past, 10, 15 years. I have a son that's 15. So, like, the last 5 years, they've really gotten into it. So that's cool to watch them get into a game that they don't even like playing, but they just love to watch it.
Speaking of what happens on the field, and, if we kind of, obviously, we cherish, like, memories and what it means to us, in terms of just the possibilities for a season from a strictly baseball point of view, yeah, I'm ready to see if Julio can live up to expectations. I have not been one of the people, nor of you, nor of most people I know, that's completely written off the possibility that Julio could still live up to expectation. And he is still young enough where at the start of a season I go, what if I see something special?
Man, I'd love it. Come on, Julio. He's batting 0 right now. So
well,
let's go. Let's
Jorge Polanco's batting 1,000.
He's batting 1,000.
I don't think either of those numbers stay, but I would also love to see Julio kind of get going just a little bit. He had a good AB.
425.
Yes.
I agree with this. Baseball is the best first date. First date baseball game, I think that'd be cool. You don't even have to like baseball, but there's time to talk. Worst first date, movie. You cannot talk to a person in a movie and get to know them.
My first date in my entire life was a movie.
It's all bad.
You know what we saw?
Dang.
What?
Nicolas Cage, classic, Next. It's maybe the worst movie I've ever seen.
I thought you were going to say like Face Off or something.
No, I'm not that old.
Is that Nicolas Cage, right?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
I don't know when that was out, but I was
National Treasure.
Yeah, I was getting excited for National Treasure.
No, I'm not that young. Next is kind of where it's at.
I do think baseball is
when I was in high school.
A baseball game now, especially in the pitch clock era for a first date, probably even better than it was pre-pitch clock because 3.5 hours with somebody that you may or may not know very well, that's a big commitment.
That's tough.
2 hours, 2.5, you can do that.
See, that's also why some people say for first dates, they're like, I don't want to go to dinner because then you're kind of guaranteed this date's going to be minimum an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And what if you go through dinner and you're like, this is the worst?
10 minutes in,
dinner's like a third or fourth date thing. Like once you know the person.
Right? I mean, I know that sounds crazy to some listeners. I know there are listeners that are like, what do you mean dinner is a third or fourth date? But it makes sense to me.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it checks out. MMQB's Conor Orr joining us next.
The John Schneider Show.
With Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
When you guys bring in free agents, then they leave and you don't sign them, probably unique to each one. But is it just something you learn in that conversation that you go, okay.
Yeah, a lot of different reasons. It could be medical, it could be personality, financial, how they're going to be a fit in the building, how much they love football, what kind of worker are they. Yeah, there's a whole interview process that I don't want to give out, actually.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news from our friends at Swedish. They're adding a second Cyberknife. Patients can now receive Cyberknife treatment at Swedish Cherry Hill and First Hill campuses. As many 710 listeners know, Cyberknife is a non-invasive, non-surgical treatment option for prostate cancer with proven results. It uses advanced technology to track your slightest body movements while adjusting in real time to deliver radiation with extreme precision. Healthy surrounding tissue and organs are spared from radiation. The end result? Excellent long-term cancer control and significantly reduced side effects. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the Cyberknife treatment period is typically only 5 days, with each session lasting less than an hour. When diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right. We'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, and Student Loan Interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners open the season with a 4-2 win over the A's. They improved to 16-5 on opening day, the best opening day record since 2005. A big night for Jorge Polanco, 3 for 3 with a 2-run homer.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Sports Illustrated senior writer Conor joining us now on the Emerald Pink Casino Sportsbook Hotline. And Conor, I'm going to start with the Seahawks offseason. Locally, we've been pretty high on it, and I got to be honest, that's mostly selfishness. Like, I'm just so happy that I can talk about, fans being excited about signing Cooper Kupp, like a guy from the state, obviously. But I can understand why we've seen so many outside sources saying, I'm not big on this class. Wondering where you land on Seattle's free agency so far.
I think that the personnel has done its job, and now it's time for coaches to coach, right? Like, I think everyone is waiting to see how that offensive line develops. And if that offensive line develops into something that's league average or better, you have something there, right? Because, this is going to be a play action heavy system. You're going to have to run downhill a lot for Kubiak's offense to work. And so as long as you can block it up, and I think Cooper Kupp is a big part of that. I think he's going to help with that a lot. As long as you can block it up, I think this is going to be a good team. That division's wide open. And I don't see any reason why they couldn't compete at this point.
What was your initial reaction to the trade news of Geno, and what do you make of their decision to swing and just go to Sam?
Well, I think Sam just fits better with Kubiak. And you're also, it's essentially like a one-year deal, right, that you could that you could spin into a longer deal if he ends up working out, which is good. I think they protected themselves on that end. And I don't think we should ever punish a team for getting younger and cheaper at the quarterback position. And we haven't seen Geno's new deal yet with the Raiders, but I would imagine that, Darnold's not going to cost as much over the long term. And he just throws really well on the move, right? And that was Clint Kubiak's whole thing, was always getting a quarterback into the boot action, getting him out and allowing him to see the field. So I think this is going to be a really good offense for Sam.
I know that you have to track so many teams around the league, but from what you know of the weapons in Seattle, does it feel like Kubiak has enough to put together the scheme in the offense that you think he wants to, or are there some pieces missing?
I think it's going to be how he marries what he does well to what the Rams have classically done, because even Jackson Smith and Jigba reminds me of a Kupp-like receiver and what he can do. And there's a lot of special considerations you have to take with players like that. And so can you marry that Shanahan game to almost something a little bit closer to what McVay does? So I think there'll be some pressure on the offensive coordinator, but in terms of skill position talent, I don't think this team is bottom third by any stretch. I think they're good enough to be competitive for sure.
Let's switch gears and look to the defense. Obviously, Mike McDonald's specialty. And to begin the season, they struggled. About 6-7 weeks into the season, I remember doing an interview ahead of a Cardinals game, and they were like, what's still bad? And I was like, the same thing. The run defense, it's not great. Lo and behold, they turned that around. Final 6 or 7 games, it's much better. What's a fair expectation for you, Conor, when you look at this defense, kind of for 2025? Where do they go from here?
Well, every team, right? It's not like they can pick up where they left off from a year ago, right? And right. So I think that's the complicated thing. I think the scheme is there, and Mike McDonald's scheme is built to improve upon itself week after week, right? What they do the week prior ends up impacting how they're going to play things the next week to try to confuse the opponent, short circuit them. And so we'll see. I mean, it all depends on how he's evolved as a teacher, how they come out of camp health-wise. But, I mean, that scheme is the most coveted thing in the NFL right now. I mean, teams want that, and I think for good reason.
What about the scheme is incredibly coveted?
So, I mean, someone described it to me like a virus, right? And so when a virus attacks the body, it just gets in there and it starts taking things apart one by one. And to the point where, you know, you're scrambling just to find the root cause of it. But by then you're sort of shut down. It's sort of a graphic image, I guess. But like
it works. It makes sense.
Like, yeah. And so by the time you have figured out what's being done to you, it's already evolved to the point where something else is happening and something else is happening. And, you know, it builds on itself. And so I think that's why so many people like it. And I mean, that goes back all the way. I mean, Mike was great at designing third down pressures for the Ravens. That's what he used to do as an administrative assistant coach. And so you see a lot of his beginnings in that for sure.
Okay, kind of a weird one for you. I think, Conor, this is my theory, that one reason some folks really don't like the Seahawks offseason is maybe they don't recognize that, like, Geno and DK also kind of wanted out at that point. And B, that they look at it and go, well, you must be rebuilding, so why on earth would you spend money on Sam Darnold? Like, why on earth would you do this when you're rebuilding? I think that John Schneider's someone who never, ever, ever wants to rebuild and recognizes the value, not only in job security, but in culture of trying to stay as competitive as possible. So my question for you, which is admittedly weird, how do you do that? Like, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around how some teams are able to kind of build back up without bottoming out, right? Like, I think of maybe a team like Kansas City, who I can't remember having god-awful seasons of late. The Steelers, another one of those teams, though they haven't had, obviously, the postseason success we were used to since 2017. But do you think it's real that you can really do that in the NFL, kind of build back up without ever getting that top 5 pick and just becoming awful?
I think you can. I mean, listen, the only team that's been allowed to completely destroy itself and not have their general manager fired has been the Browns over the last 10 years, right? And so there is no such thing as a rebuild anymore. And, you know, I think that's the hardest thing for fans to understand is, you know, if you look at a team like the Texans getting rid of Laramie Tunsil and, you know, some of their biggest players, it's because whatever he was taking away from the locker room was so significant that they thought they'd be better without him. And in Seattle, I'm not saying it's the same thing with Geno Smith or DK Metcalf, but I mean, John Schneider knows this, and Mike McDonald certainly knows it. There's no luxury to have a 6 or a 7-win season. It doesn't exist. And so I think it's one of those things where, you know, every move that they make is for the betterment of the long term, but also the betterment of the now. And I think the teams that can do it more successfully are the ones that understand what they want. Like the Rams, for example, or, you know, the 49ers, it's like, hey, these draft picks are going to do this on day one, and we can account for that, and that's going to be cheap labor for us for a couple of years, and then they turn out to be superstar players. And so we'll see how that kind of synergy between Mike and John continues to build.
It's honestly refreshing to hear you say that also, because I do think that a lot of folks, and this is natural, right? Like, I'm sure I've done this at some point. We look at NFL teams almost like we'd look at our own, not like a fantasy team, but like, you know, what can I get without actually living through the consequences? Like, I want a top 4 pick. I don't want to experience the 3-win season. So those are kind of the way that we naturally look at seasons. And one thing that's always lost in that, especially for a Seattle audience that hasn't seen a god-awful season in a minute, is that culture breaks, right? Like, when you can think of teams that you've covered from the outside or teams around the league that maybe in Seattle we're not paying attention to because it's local, do you see that kind of broken culture? Like, it's hard to build yourself up from 2 wins.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, not to, you know, pick on Cleveland too much, but I've spent so much time. I've spent so much time talking to guys who were on some of those teams, like when Paul DePodesta got there or when Andrew Berry got there, where they knew that they were being utilized in some sort of a scheme to get a higher pick. And so they're putting their body on the line for absolutely nothing, right? And so what does that do? And how does that impact the trust that players have with management and all those issues? And then you're seeing other teams like the Lions sort of building up on the other side where everything is about trust, or the Eagles, everything's about paying players early, not forcing them to earn it over the course of a lifetime and then franchise tagging them and stringing them out. Being that anti-Cowboys, anti-Cleveland team, I think is a big deal, and it means a lot.
Okay, I'm going to step outside of Seattle, but I am talking about a former Seahawk. You actually covered a bit of what you think the Giants' plan is, obviously, for the most recent edition of MMQB, and I wanted to focus on that because I have a bet, Conor, with my co-host, and we're just looking at like yards and touchdowns, like basic stats at the end of the season between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. And we made this bet at a time when neither was signed with the team, and we were both saying like, well, who would you take? At least my quarterback, Russell Wilson, is signed with a team right now, but I have no idea what to expect with him from the Giants. Tell me, what Russ still has left to you and what you think the Giants are doing.
Well, I think what the Giants are doing is they're giving themselves a lot of options because quarterback game is musical chairs at this point. And so I think what they wanted was to get Jameis and to get Russell in there so that they know that they have two people capable, more capable than like Drew Lock of starting games, right? Or Tommy DeVito, which is what they had prior. And then they're going to let the evaluation process play out. I hate olives, and I say that to say that I got a standing bet with some of my co-hosts that I have to eat an entire jar of them on YouTube if the Giants take Shedeur Sanders. So I hope it doesn't happen, but
you're going to be spreading rumors about Shedeur for MMQB. You're going to be like, look, I'm hearing crazy things. I'm not saying it's true. This guy's got bus written all over him.
Yes. But I think that what they're basically doing is they're giving themselves time and space to go through a true evaluation of Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Titans don't want that pick. I don't know. But it's one of those things where I think at this point it's just breathing room, and then they'll figure it out from there.
Okay, I know I'm going against your best wishes, and I hope for your sake you aren't eating a lot of olives, right? But that being said, when are we thinking Shedeur might go? Because, Conor, I'm not as tuned into the draft, and I'm not used to doing it, covering the Seahawks. Normally we're looking at, like, mid-round, trying to figure out what, tackle might slip. But is there really kind of, talk about Shedeur maybe slipping late into the first, or is that all kind of that typical run-of-the-mill post-combine gossip?
I think it probably is to some degree, but I mean, it depends on where you were from the beginning. I think my problem with him is I think he's great. I think he turned around two programs and he's incredibly gifted, but what you get is what you get. Like, he's not going to get any bigger. I don't think he's necessarily going to get much stronger. Like, he's maxed out that frame, and what you're probably going to get, at least in my opinion, is like a slightly more fun Teddy Bridgewater, which is great. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater was a first-round pick. But, if you're the Giants and you're hinging your future on that, like, you need some serious upside. You need a Josh Allen type upside. You need a Patrick Mahomes type upside. If you're going to make that commitment again in the top three, when your roster needs so many other things. I mean, two of the Giants' biggest needs are wide receiver 2 and cornerback 1. And It's like, my goodness, you have Travis Hunter sitting there. That's one guy that can play both of those positions. So why wouldn't you do that? But again, I think that by signing Russ and by signing Jameis, they've just bought themselves time to figure it out.
Sticking with taking a look around the rest of the league, around some of these big lingering free agents, a question I'm sure you have written about a million times, gotten a million times, you already know where it's going, but what's Aaron Rodgers doing here?
I would guess that part of him would hope that J.J. McCarthy has a bad spring and that the Vikings want to bring him in, and then he can go out legitimately competing for a Super Bowl, and then he could also have the Steelers on the back burner. We all kind of like to have our cake and eat it too. I mean, that was my guess initially. The Vikings just offer a little bit more upside, and that said, I mean, at some point here after the draft, the Kirk Cousins thing is going to start to activate, and maybe Pittsburgh pulls the rug out from underneath Aaron and he's left with no options.
Yeah.
Do I believe that he's not going to play when he's 6 touchdowns short of passing Brett Favre and only 1,300 yards short, I think, of being the number 3 passing quarterback of all time? No, I don't think he's going to pass on that opportunity to, put a cherry on top of his Hall of Fame legacy. But I could be wrong.
Okay, while we are talking about quarterbacks, I am going to bring this back to Seattle. You mentioned really not minding the signing of Sam Darnold, thinking, he's good at throwing on the move. He fits what Kubiak wants to do. I wanted to talk about Sam Darnold as kind of a concept for some of our last kind of bit of this interview. There was the idea that Geno's a bridge. Of course, Geno's a bridge. No one had expectations for Geno. He's comeback player of the year. He ends up being one of the most accurate quarterbacks, sets a franchise record for single-season passing yards. Yes, in 17 games. I don't care. And we're having completely different conversations about Geno. Then Geno's on the move. I think there are a lot of people in Seattle that, despite Sam's age, still see him as being kind of a bridge quarterback. I'm curious about not only how you view Sam and his potential, given that he is still very young, but also how you view a team trying to win with a quarterback that's clearly not a top 10 guy.
Well, I don't know if we know that, right? I mean, he was an MVP candidate, and we're hinging, and we rest all of our frustrations on 2 games. And I tell everybody, what is the first thing the Vikings did this offseason? They went gangbusters trying to fix the interior of the offensive line that couldn't handle the blitz, and got all these guys into Sam's face. So for 15 games out of the year, he was spectacular and one of the 6 or 7 best quarterbacks in the NFL. And then someone threw a wrench, which all great offenses get a wrench. It just so happened that it hit the Vikings at the end of the season, and they weren't able to adjust, and they also didn't have the offensive line to adjust. They addressed that this offseason. And so for me, I think it's super unfair to put that all on Sam when, we just want to tie it back to the Jets when that was a completely different situation and a disastrous roster. So I'm open-minded, and I think we should all be open-minded. I mean, look at Baker Mayfield now. I could see Sam Darnold being the same kind of prospect or person.
I just have to say also, Conor, one of my best childhood friends is named Conor, and we all call him Coco. For the last 15 minutes, it's been so hard for me not to say, good point, Coco. And then you keep it moving. It's just so natural for me. I had to stop myself. But great points, Conor. Great points. We are going to let you go. Tell everyone where they can find more from you and any projects at all or anything you're working on this week.
Well, baseball preview issue is out for Sports Illustrated, so buy a hard copy, and then football preview after that. So it's probably just a good time to subscribe to the magazine. Get yourself that for Easter or just as a nice little spring gift for yourself. Everyone likes the magazine, so gift it to the loved one in your life.
I absolutely do. SI.com. He is Conor Orr. Thanks, Conor.
Thank you.
Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, who do you feel will have one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL in 2025? I have a guess.
Who do you think?
Vikings.
No. It's a new duo. Think new.
New. So where wide receivers sign? Rams.
The Rams was my initial thought. I think that's going to go down, but I went to the Pittsburgh Steelers because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with them. DK Metcalf and George Pickens. I looked up just their big plays combined. If they were on the same team, now obviously these numbers aren't going to be completely accurate, but if they were on the same team, they had to combine 37 big plays. So those are catches over 20 yards. DK was 4th, and then Pickens was around 12 or 13. That would be the most in the NFL. And they are just down the field type of receivers. So I think that the nickel and dime is going to go to another receiver, wherever their third receiver is. But the downfield throws have to go to DK and to George Pickens. The only knock I have on these two is that DK's career catch percentage is 60%. It needs to be a bit higher. And then George Pickens only caught 59% of the passes thrown to him last year, but he was working with Justin Fields, a quarterback who isn't completely accurate, and then Russell Wilson, who at times holds on to the football. So there are some things working there. I think Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua are going to be a great duo, but just the downfield potential out of these two is great, but they got to catch the rock because they weren't great at that last year.
Second down. Sticking with wideouts, who's a wideout you feel needs a job ASAP? Rocky.
If I told you this receiver had, in 2021, 103 catches, 1,038 yards, and did not play in 2024, and he's under the age of 30, what would you say?
Why isn't he?
Why is he in the league? And it's because he's been banged up and injured. But Hunter Renfrow didn't play at all last year. Didn't play at all. I think that last year he played in 2023. He only had 23 catches for 225 and no touchdowns. But I think that he's the perfect type of receiver that you can throw in to a George Pickens or DK. You can throw into a Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. He'll give you about 30, 40 receptions and about 400 to 500 yards and a couple of touchdowns. I was baffled when I read the article and realized he did not play on a team last year, but he's banged up. If you look at him, he looks 40. I mean, that hairline looks like mine. And he doesn't look his age, but I think he's still a serviceable receiver. I'm interested to see who will pick this young man up. And I was surprised, man. Just a couple years ago, he was a Pro Bowler, and now he's nowhere to be seen or nowhere to be found. But injuries really killed him last year. I could see him on a team like New Orleans, who might need underneath the receiver. The Tennessee Titans, who might need that third receiver as well. He'll get a job. Hunter Renfrow, he's still out there. Somebody go pick that man up.
I really had a moment of racking my mind, like everyone does when you're playing trivia, watching Jeopardy, where you try to think of the answer before you say it. And then once you said it, I thought, wow, he did not even cross my mind. And it was like the name recognition and knowing he had such a big season not that long ago and a great career not that long ago, I thought, why did I completely forget about Hunter?
Ain't even 30.
Shame on me. Third down. What's the best way to grow football nationally? Internationally?
Internationally. Thank you, teacher. Put a red mark on that.
It's pretty big in the United States.
It's pretty big
deal here.
But you know what? You can grow it even bigger in the United States by doing the same thing that I think they should do internationally.
Okay.
It's just introduce flag football to everyone. That's why the girls game has grown a bit. I own a facility, and we have 7-on-7 teams, which is essentially flag football. And this was the first year they had girls teams doing it. Actually, the last couple of years. And girls can play. I think I would love to see a professional women's flag football league because the agility is crazy. I'm trying to get my daughter to play, and she's convinced that it's just for boys. I'm like, nah, baby girl, you can do this. But you got to grow up through flag football. I saw the most ridiculous clip of my life the other day. I think it's like in Germany or Italy, right? These kids are playing American football with pads on, but they have flags on as well. They have helmets, shoulder pads, thigh pads, and there's pads on, and they're pulling flags. I go, what is the point of this? I guess safety first, but that's not the way to do it. But when's the Olympics? 2026? When the Olympics?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
26?
Summer 28.
28. So in 28.
26. I'm just like, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Correct.
The winter ones are in 26.
The World Cup is 26. I think that's what I was thinking.
That's totally what I was thinking, too.
But in 28, the Olympics are going to introduce flag football. And I told my agent, I go, look, man, I need to be a part of this. So that is how you grow the game. And I think, I'm telling you, in the next 10 years, we're going to see a professional women's flag football team. The Seahawks have done a great job growing the game in high school. I think Lincoln has one of the best girls flag football teams. Down south, they are killing it when it comes to girls playing flag football. Need to see more of that. If that's what you want to do, you want to grow the game, introduce flag, because everyone can play that automatically. You don't have to have big 300-pound linemen. You get the average man out there, go do your thing.
I will also co-sign on the Seahawks. G and I, obviously. Well, G still does a lot of pregame interviews and festivities and awesome stuff for the Seahawks. And for a couple years, I was doing it with him, and we interviewed a girls flag football team. And the Seahawks have always championed it and been so good about youth sports in general, youth sports involvement. Obviously, pro athletes and professional teams recognize the value in just kids playing sports, but for girls especially, flag football has been so monumental. And that was the first time that I really keyed in on it and was like, wow, this is becoming
it's
a
awesome.
huge
And
deal.
they
It's
can
awesome.
play, man. It's serious.
Fourth down. Change up, no pun intended, but what's the best thing you saw from the Mariners last night?
So, not from the Mariners, but at the Mariners game. I went to Edgar's as I made my loop around T-Mobile, and there was this young lady who looked like she was your size trying to fight the 6'3", 300-pound man. I don't know what happened, and I walked by her, and I'm like, hey, you good? Calm down. No. You know when people have that look in their eye and you just can't talk to them? I go, you know what? I tried, my man. Good luck to you there. But the effort she was putting in to try to get to this dude, I don't know what he said. I said, that's the type of fight this team needs. All right, Mariners, whoever this girl was, she was getting after it. It was, I hope everything worked out. But I literally thought that to myself, like, this is the type of fight that the Mariners need.
So she was like yelling at this dude?
She was yelling. She was trying
to
to fight this dude. I don't know what happened.
Here's the thing. I know sometimes, so I'm a very short person. I'm a petite person. And I know sometimes we always joke about, like, firecrackers. I'm not that person. Like, I think, look, small people, listen to me. We need to be honest with ourselves. I don't think I could fight most fifth graders. You know? Like, you need to be very honest about, like, I really do think some people, they just get kind of, like, I don't know, like spark plug energy where they're like, I can take on the world. And while I love that mentality, and I agree with you, the Mariners need that mentality, in real life, you got to just
pick your battles.
Yeah. I remember I've never been in an entire fight, or a fight in my entire life, never in my life. But there was this girl when I was in high school that I heard a rumor she wanted to fight me. I left school at like 4 p.m. every day. I was terrified. I was like, it's not for me. This life is not for me. I don't know what to do here.
About that life.
I know. Timeline coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk. Weekdays 6 to 10.
There is no offensive problem in Seattle when Julio is hot. None. All of the offensive problems that the Mariners have had in the last couple of years disappear when Julio's hot.
Yeah, you can put all that pressure on Julio, and it's all about Julio. And if Julio goes, everybody else goes. But we also know every rotation that comes in says, don't let that guy get going. So we will not give him much to hit.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Everyone wants to get the best deal they can when they buy a car. But what about when you want to sell your car? Of course, you want to get the most money possible, but how do you get the most you can without trying to sell it yourself? Well, that's where my friends at Wayscar Ford in Auburn step in. Not only will they buy your car today, but that's just the beginning. Once they resell your old car, they'll send you another check for 50% of the profit of the sale of your old car. In fact, they've already given back over $750,000 to customers who have sold them their cars. It's such a great offer, but how are they able to do it? Easy. It's not a consignment because you get paid for your car right away. Wayscar 4 pays you right up front. They buy your car for fair market value. Then no more insurance, no more maintenance, no more storage. Then they pay you half the profit when they resell your car. It's that easy. Get the most money possible for your old car. Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn, and let them do the work. That's wayscarford.com.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Did you know that your windows and doors are your main source of energy loss? At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, our windows with triple weather shipping and gasket seals are up to 25% more efficient than Energy Star standards. LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Being blind doesn't always look how others may think. Stargardt disease was supposed to define me.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down. A blinding eye disease attempted to force me away from doing what I was born to do.
But it cannot stop me. I have the tools.
I will keep moving forward.
Pushing past the limits of this disability.
I know where to find support and where I can be seen.
Great vision doesn't require great sight. Innovative research, educational resources, supportive community. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is leading the charge in finding treatments and cures for blinding diseases. Make your impact today. Donate now at fightingblindness.org. A public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about on your own timeline. You may have already seen this one, but let's dive in. Colorado head coach Deion Sanders has agreed to a contract extension with the Buffs through 2029 that pays $54 million over 5 years. He's now one of the 10 highest paid head coaches in all of college football. Not surprising at all. In 2 seasons, Deion's helped Colorado go from 1 win in 2022 to 9 in 2024.
He wasn't lying. He said he loves Colorado. He wants to stay there. And I appreciate Deion for committing to Colorado, because he could have easily have taken one of these bigger jobs when they become available, right? He went to Florida State. You can see him playing there or coaching there. I could see him at a Georgia or Bama, even though those jobs ain't going nowhere. The board better step your game up. But no, this is great, man. Over $10 million a year to coach college football. Good for Deion, changing the game and making Colorado, I wouldn't call them a powerhouse, but an interesting team on the rise.
I do really applaud him for staying there, and I think it's because he has so much control over that program, so much influence. He can do everything that he wants to do, and that would be very enticing. I mean, it's why, we read an entire profile about Bill Belichick and going to UNC and why there were some football NFL teams that were just not a fit. Is like there are certain coaches that once they get used to a level of, I like it done my way, and this is how it's going to be, most especially if success follows them, you don't want to give that up.
No.
So, yeah, credit to Deion. Really cool, situation there for the Buffs. What's going on in Memphis? My best Brian Windhurst impersonation. The Grizzlies fired their head coach. Grizzlies, comfortably in position to make the playoffs, 5th in the Western Conference right now, fired head coach Taylor Jenkins this morning. Shams reporting that Jenkins was called into the office earlier this morning, fired in person. Grizzlies have since obviously released a statement and talked about it, but a lot of people around the NBA shocked at the move. Again, 44-29, the Grizzlies are the number 5 seed in the Western Conference with 9 games left to play in the regular season.
They're second when it comes to points per game. They're second when it comes to boards, second in blocks. They are 4th when it comes to point differential. You got John Morant, who's been fairly quiet this year as far as staying out of trouble. We saw all the stuff he got into last year, a couple years ago. This sounds and feels like a personal move. Like something happened with the relationship between head coach and GM or owner or whatnot, because there's no way you want to disrupt what's going on. Or maybe it has to do with John Morant. Maybe because, the league where the players have the most power is the NBA. Players get coaches fired all the time. LeBron has done that his whole career, but LeBron has also helped a lot of first-time coaches get to the NBA Finals too. But yeah, this sounds and smells and feels like a personal move. Makes no sense, but I hope the chemistry is jacked up and my Lakers continue to thrive, even though they lost last night. It's okay. Was it last night? It was last night, right?
I almost, just for a split second, when I sent you guys that Bulls, the end of game highlight, for a split second, I was like, is this the Lakers? No. Okay, good. Here we go. I want you guys to check this out.
It was actually, Bob. Here's the highlight.
Bulls are out of timeouts. 2 seconds left. Geno for the win. Go! My God! I cannot believe this. Elizabeth, I'm coming, baby. On and on. Improbable. Unbelievable. Impossible. Magic Giddy. Good day, mate.
All true.
That's a heck of a call, though.
It's a great call and a wild end to a game.
You can't even be mad at that. For the Lakers, like, you're going to launch one from 3/4 of the way down the court. You can't even be mad at that.
I appreciate, though, me sending it an hour later. Bump, I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if you saw. I'm an hour late. I wasn't watching this game. I just saw it on my timeline.
I synced it. It hurt.
Yeah, I know. You experienced it twice, though.
It
It's like
did.
someone sending, I was just a bad ending to your team's game. And they're like, did you see this? Sham's adding some additional notes about this. That Jenkins went 250-214 as Grizzlies head coach, the most coaching wins in franchise history. The Grizzlies have since named Finland native Tomos Lisalo as the interim head coach.
As one does.
Before we move on, genuine question. Bump, I know you mentioned like maybe it's personal. So a question for either of you, Curtis, you included. Were there any rumblings about like issues with Jenkins? Like why?
Never heard.
Nothing
Not one.
publicly, no.
So weird.
It's personal, man.
Okay.
He sent a text he didn't like.
Right.
Got him out of there.
Talking to someone. I don't know what's going on. Next up.
He sent the gun emoji to John Morant. John was like, I don't play.
MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred spoke about the league's dissatisfaction with ESPN's coverage of baseball leading up to ESPN opting out of their deal.
There was a level of dissatisfaction on our part. It started, with the end of baseball tonight. I think if you watch ESPN, and I do, where we appear on SportsCenter in the morning, there were issues.
Hey, I can answer that better than anybody. We only did one segment today on opening day, Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
So if anybody can mention it, you're talking to me.
Yeah. And look, there was a level of dissatisfaction with that. Having said that, did we want to be partners with him? Yes. But taking less money.
Not going to happen.
And look, I'll say this publicly because I said it to them. They stepped up for the NBA. They stepped up for football, stepped up for this one. And to come back to us and say, we want to cut you.
That's a good point, Rob. So you felt hurt.
Yeah.
I don't blame you, Rob.
Was that Mad Dog?
So you felt hurt.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
Mad Dog's radio
Mad Dog.
show.
Yeah.
Only very recognizable.
Yeah. Mad Dog was gassing him, too. Yeah, I'm with you, dog.
Yeah.
What was going on?
Yeah, we only talked one baseball segment.
I can tell you right now, we only did one. Opening day. Can you believe that? It was the Dodgers.
I mean, but that's real, though.
Yeah.
I mean, opening day, if there's any day where Major League Baseball should be plastered everywhere, it's this week, honestly.
Fair.
You got some good matchups going on. You want to highlight the season. I get there's a $1.62 when it comes to these games, and you can't hype up every single game, but come on, it's opening week.
Okay, well, speaking of baseball topics, we've got more here. WFAN's Boomer Esiason with a scorching hot take on Juan Soto. He left him off his list of needle movers in baseball.
I think there's 3 athletes in baseball.
I think there's 3, okay?
That
I think there's
move
3.
the needle. Move the needle athletes.
Needle movers?
Yeah, needle movers.
Okay.
And that would be Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
The great Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
And Paul Skeens.
You don't put Soto in there.
No, I don't. I don't think he moves the needle.
What?
I don't.
Oh, boy.
I think he's a great baseball player.
He's
but I
a
don't
needle mover.
I think he's a great baseball player. Don't get me wrong. I think they way overpaid for him, but that's their money. That's my team, and I want him to do well, and I want us to win.
When you got 3 or more teams, franchises, offering that guy over $700 million, that's a needle mover.
Something tells me there's a little bias in the needle mover list here for
Mover.
WFAN.
Needle mover.
Yeah, something tells me that because Juan Soto moved.
Well, and
out
they're
of
the Yankees' flagship
Exactly.
station. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Needle mover. Yeah, right.
Outstanding Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
dang
exactly.
well.
You could tell from the jump. Let me tell you who the needle movers are. That kid
41
Ohtani.
41 bombs moves the needle for me. 7.9 WAR moves the needle for me.
And he's like 25 years old.
If he was wearing pinstripes, he'd be moving the needle.
He's moving the needle. You're a hater.
That's
what you are. You're a hater.
You're not a mover needle.
a mover needle?
Oh, God. I love the needle mover. Next up, even at 51 years old, Ichiro can still gas it up. His first pitch last night was clocked at 84 miles per hour.
Touching 80, baby.
Wilson caught the first pitch, was asked about it, obviously, post-game.
Also has the hand up with Ichiro.
It was gasoline, I'll tell you that. I was glad I caught it, but awesome night for that too.
I told you, man. Yes. I'm training this young man, Efton Chisholm, who's probably gonna get drafted this year. If not, he'll get on the squad. And we throw every day. I'm throwing a football to him. My elbow hurts. Ichiro at 51 throwing gas like that is crazy to me. I can't even throw a football as often as I want to because my elbow hurts. Big ups, Ichiro.
Time for the IRG injury report, brought to you by IRG
Kinda sound like Linda
Therapy. Logan Gilbert, he wasn't hurt. That's great news. After taking a 111-mile-per-hour line drive off his backside from the bat of Lawrence Butler. So good news for Logan. By the way, Luis Castillo, obviously, on the mound today. Do you guys want to keep talking about needle movers a little bit?
Moving needles.
Let's talk about moving needles. Sure. Let's keep talking about some moving needles in a couple different leagues. Then the Athletics' Robert Mays joining us at noon. Don't go anywhere.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
How does the McDonald-Schneider tandem look like the Carroll-Schneider tandem in terms of figuring out who they want to have play here?
Every day at 7:45.
I think it's a little bit different, Salk, because certainly they both say the same thing. We want guys that love football, but the optics and the lens through which Pete Carroll looks at that and Mike McDonald look at that are different because their wiring is very, very different.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, why did you make the call to First Mark Insurance?
My company has grown to a space where we need a higher level of coverage. A couple of factors led me to say, boy, I really need to find something new, and First Mark really rang that bell.
First Mark save you and your business money?
Oh, yeah. They have decreased overall expense in a couple categories by up to 30%, coverage in a couple of areas by greater than 50%. They've offered coverage in 2 new categories that I think are pertinent for my business, and they've greatly impacted what that coverage and those margins look like.
Kind of wish you made the call earlier.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Through March 31st, save double your sales tax from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy easy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest, same as cash, 12-month financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com to save double today.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
When I found out my son was using marijuana, I thought it was just part of adolescence.
Lots of teens and young people get high.
But then I found out how powerful today's concentrates are.
I couldn't believe it.
It's far more powerful than weed from the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
When teens use vapes or dabs, the potency can be 80 to 100% THC.
THC can cause addiction, hallucinations, paranoia, anxiety, and cannabis-induced psychosis in youth.
For teens and young adults, marijuana use comes with increased risks
of suicidal thoughts, planning, and attempts.
And these high THC products can be bought almost anywhere.
From gas stations to dispensaries, I had no idea.
Talk to your children well before they experiment with today's potent THC products.
Get educated.
Help them understand the dangers are real.
Just Say No, KNOW. Go to justsayno.org today for the facts.
A public service message from Johnny's Ambassadors. You're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We just listened to a WFAN conversation about needle movers in sports. Before we dive into who were the sports world's great mover needles. Needle movers right now. And are any of them in Seattle? Let's quickly define a needle mover. What's a needle mover? To you.
A moving needle is what I call him. He or she is an athlete that has the ability to just take things over. So when you need a big play, you need a hero, they can be the hero. Like when they walk up to the plate or on the field, you hear the song, "There goes my hero," right? It's slow motion. And you have those moments. I always go back to the Bryce Harper moment. That's one of my favorite moments in all sports.
Great AB.
When it's quiet, he's got his music playing, Apple TV cameras are zooming in on him, and boom, he delivers. Needle movers, moving needles, deliver when you need a play to be made.
Yeah, a needle mover, move a needle. To me, it's anyone that, not necessarily strictly appointment television. I'm not going to tune into every single one of Shohei Ohtani's great moments. I'm not going to watch a game just because Ohtani's playing. But I think of it as, when would someone who isn't a diehard fan tune into a team? So maybe when Aaron Judge was chasing an AL home run record, right? Like, I'm not a Yankee fan. I don't like the Yankees, but I kind of started to tune in to like see what'll happen.
Yeah.
So someone who moves the needle by getting someone outside of a typical fan base to care, right? So they were debating like whether or not Juan Soto was one of them, but had Ohtani, Paul Skeens, and who am I blanking on?
Judge.
Thank
you,
you,
great Aaron Judge.
The great Aaron Judge as needle movers. Go to any sport, okay? Feel free. Just we don't have to go through all of them, but just some needle movers that come to mind for you?
Hoops, SGA right now. SGA, to me, I know the people have crowned the Joker as the best basketball player right now. I'm looking at SGA and the stuff that he's doing, and it's ridiculous. And he's not just a slasher. That man can shoot, he can guard, everything. Till this day, Tiger Woods is still. I don't care if he is playing on one leg, people are going to stop and at least watch a little bit of what he's doing. NFL, you got to go guys, obviously like Pat Mahomes or whatnot. Soccer, till this day, Messi is still.
Yeah.
Ronaldo is still. Oh, I forgot the young man from Spain. He's 17 years of age,
Yes,
and
he's not a needle
they're
mover.
crowning him as a moving needle.
Mbappe from France, he's one, I would say.
Mbappe,
Lamine Yamal, is that his name?
yes.
I don't know.
17 years of
He's
age, and on
nasty.
Barcelona killing right now.
I don't know that SGA is.
What?
For the non-NBA fan.
Well, I guess, yeah. Non-NBA, yeah, I get you. But
Yeah.
if you don't know about SGA, you better
That's
get to know him.
Clearly, like, best young player right now
Yeah.
in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't think casual sports fans that are not NBA
You know why?
fans.
Because he plays in
for
Oklahoma.
OKC.
Yeah.
OKC. Hey,
I'd say like Luca, he's one.
yeah. I know a team that wears gold that could use SGA. Just come join the squad.
Stop taking everyone.
Stop. You already have
Stop it.
Luca.
Don't you have enough?
Gross.
You
Never
have
enough.
enough.
Never enough.
Okay, let's move it to Seattle the last couple of minutes. Does Seattle have needle movers right now? Any team in Seattle?
Potential. I don't think people are stopping and checking on Julio. I don't think they are. I think that baseball enthusiasts, the experts, the analysts, and obviously the people here understand the potential of Julio. He's a potential needle mover. I don't think Seattle has any at this point. Any sport.
I think Julio for sure almost. Because
Nah.
if you were to ask, this is why I say
I think he's
one of
the
these news
closest
people.
of anybody.
Okay.
Ask one of these
I
news
don't know
people
that
right
should
now.
count.
But that's
Hang
that's
on,
what we're talking about.
Chris.
The person who doesn't watch the sport, they're
So, for
You gotta
instance,
do it
it
for 'em.
used to be like the Legion of Boom collectively.
Yeah.
Right? Like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Like someone that'll be like, oh, I'll tune in to see what's happening there. Okay, sure. You don't think Julio, though?
Nah. I think he's close.
I think
he has
Julio
a potential.
This is why I say Julio.
He didn't capitalize on it.
No, exactly. Sometimes your stardom is thrust upon you and you don't meet the moment, right? Like Julio, even though he has not played up to his level of stardom, is pretty famous.
Listen, the fact that you have to fight to validate Julio
But those
as
are
a needle
Seattle
mover.
fans who are angry at Julio.
Stace,
not like Steph Curry
he's not.
knows who Julio
He's close.
is.
He's not.
KD is friends with Julio. Buster Olney, Jeff Passan,
You're
John
naming,
Morosi.
but you're killing your argument. You said the person who doesn't watch the sport is going to tune in and check up on it. Ain't nobody checking on Julio like that.
I'm going to ask my mom right now. if she
Ain't
knows who
nobody
Julio
checking on. I
Rodriguez
got
is.
love for Julio.
I'm
He's a
texting her right
potential
now.
needle mover.
Okay,
but he ain't there
You know what I'm
yet.
going to do? I'm going to text my group of
I think
girlfriends, and I'm gonna
asking
say,
any non-Mariners viewer or listener in our building, which there are probably quite a few, especially on the news side, like name one player on the Mariners. I think they would get to Julio before anybody else.
But that doesn't mean he's a needle mover.
why not?
Needle,
a needle?
you check on him. You're a mover needle. You're checking on him.
If
I'm
Julio-
checking to see. Well, the average fan, like you mentioned, Aaron Judge. Remember when he was chasing the home runs and
Yes.
stuff, and they had him on ESPN like
Yes.
every single day,
Yes.
right? ESPN ain't checking on Julio like that.
Yeah, they will.
But they're not,
I'm
though.
telling you right
We're talking
now.
right now.
I'm telling you right now. If Julio's got 30 home runs sometime in June, that's insane, and they are going to be.
We're talking right
following it.
now, though. I'm
I'm just saying, if
gonna
he's
use your
putting up
argument.
Some crazy,
I'm
absolutely
gonna do what you
insane
say.
number.
You're moving the goalpost, Stace.
No,
You
because
talking about right now? No one's checking on him like that.
no one's checked. If JP puts up career numbers and has a Gold Glove season, no one outside of Seattle's checking in on JP.
No.
They're checking in on Julio.
If he does that,
Yeah, but
no one's checking on him now. The last 2 seasons, he had an opportunity. He had.
Julio was in a home run derby with how
captivated
many
us.
home runs?
He captivated us. That's where he fumbled the bag.
But that's a needle mover. Move a needle. Is someone invited to a home run derby when people are
Listen.
like, is he even an all-star? What's going on?
Listen, you know
You're
what?
a needle mover.
You know what? I think my kids are great too. Okay. Little Michael, Jaden, Kobe, they're the greatest kids in the world. They ain't moving no needles. Julio ain't moving no needle. He will, though, eventually, I think, Stacy.
Someone said Griffey and Ichiro, but not Julio yet. Oh, two, should be unanimous Hall of Famers collectively missed 4 Hall of Fame votes between the two of them. Yes, of course, they're needle movers. Their legacies are set. Their legacies are done. We know in hindsight who they are as players. We do not know that about Julio yet, and I think there's a lot of people in the sports world outside of Seattle that are still curious.
Hey, I'm telling you, ain't nobody checking on Julio. They will, though. They will.
But I think that you could say that about several superstars in baseball.
You're putting Julio with Ohtani?
No, I'm not.
Aaron Judge?
No.
That's must-see TV. No one's saying, oh, the Mariners are on.
But
we gotta go see Julio.
But I think that maybe there are levels to needle movers. There are always going to be Ohtani, best baseball player we've ever seen. No one's in Ohtani's class. There are no levels to needle movers. Aaron Judge,
you're not.
Best baseball player on the Yankees. Those, they're in a separate class.
You are or you're not. There's no, maybe.
I think he is.
He's a little needle mover.
I think he is. Like a thimble, like a little sewing needle mover.
Oh, man.
Maybe one of those. Robert Mays joins us next.
When you're on the pitch clock and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcasts on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
Dan Wilson's the new skipper.
This is a window. This is a time where we can get it done, and that's the hope. That's the vision for this club.
Find us on seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
Holy smokes!
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Mariners.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law. Battle-tested.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, our EV trucking company is officially in operation.
Andrew's zero-emission trucks are driving the transportation category forward.
We'll make driving safer, easier, and less stressful. Now our technology needs to keep up with demand.
He needs to put pedal to the metal on hiring more software engineers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet. But we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is. Like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found at G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we provide no-cost digital resources in place of textbooks and most courses. And that's not all. You'll receive your accredited online education at an affordable tuition with a choice from more than 135 degree and certificate programs. With online and hybrid courses, get everything you need to succeed again. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Through March 31st, save double your sales tax from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy easy zero down, zero payments, and zero interest, same as cash 12-month financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com to save double today.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at EmeraldQueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
I am so sorry I was late. I was at the retina specialist getting my first AMD treatment. I was worried that the injection would hurt, but it was much better than I expected.
Did you go to the same retina specialist that I see for my diabetic retinopathy?
Yes. And I am so glad I didn't wait.
When your vision is at risk from retinal disease, you need the expertise of a retina specialist. If you experience blurred central vision, a curtain-like shadow in your vision, floaters, flashing lights, or wavy lines, see a retina specialist.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Surprising news out of the NBA this morning. Taylor Jenkins has been fired as Grizzlies coach. A surprising move given that Memphis is sitting in 5th place in the West. ESPN's Shams Charania, first with the report, says Jenkins was called to the Grizzlies office this morning, fired in person. The Grizzlies have made 3 postseason appearances, including 1 playoff series win under Jenkins.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now to the Mac and Jack's text line for some quick reaction to the Needle Movers conversation before we get to Robert Mays. It is, well, it's like 80% your side. First of all, someone saying, Stacy, someone with 30 bombs through June would be making national news no matter what. Yes. I was using a very exaggerated, like if he was doing something absolutely insane, yes, of course everyone would be talking about him, but I guess literally anyone could be doing that and we'd be talking, so. On track
Is this
for
you
some
saying
Barry
sorry?
Bonds.
Are you saying sorry?
No, because I'm not backing down. I think that there are degrees and levels to needle movers and needle movery. And I think that there are just certain athletes that put themselves in a status of their own that it becomes almost unfair to compare them. Like, it is almost unfair to compare Tom Brady to any quarterback that you talk about because Tom Brady will have them beaten every single stat. And it's like, okay, we can all accept that Tom Brady is just going to have the record or be the conversation ender for a million things. It doesn't mean that you can't talk about Drew Brees' legacy or, Phillip Rivers' case for the Hall of Fame or whatever it is.
Sure.
I think
I'm not backing down, Ian.
Another piece of needle mover is knowing that a guy is going to do something and he gets away with it anyway. Like, I think of the end of the Super Bowl when Tom Brady's coming back.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it's happening and there's just nothing you can do to stop it. Lamar Jackson kind of gives off that vibe where it's like he's just going to run around us. We're going to do our best to stop it. And
he's
fingers
inevitable.
crossed it works. And it's just inevitable.
I will say the majority of listeners siding with you. And I think it's because their definition of needle mover is like a lot of people care about what this person does no matter what. This person is well respected. They've established themselves. And I can recognize that Julio has not. And not only that, but has fallen short of expectation more often than
I like
not.
what 253 just said.
Yeah.
He's a local needle mover, not a national one yet.
I'm being biased because I listen to a lot of baseball podcasts and they all will mention Julio. Like anytime they talk about the Mariners, the easiest thing to do is just mention, oh, Julio.
Yeah.
You know, this team lives and dies by Julio.
He's the guy.
It's the easiest take.
He's the guy. Every team has that guy, though. Even the A's have that guy. Was it Rooker?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has that guy.
Over 4 strikeouts last night. Yeah, I don't know. Someone said you can keep digging a hole with a tiny shovel. It's right next to the tiny needle that's moving. No. Okay. Is there a needle mover? I can accept that if Julio's the biggest needle mover in Seattle and it's not a very big needle, then I can accept that there are, quote, none in Seattle, though I will die with this argument.
Okay.
Is there someone else in baseball, not named Ohtani, or the great Aaron Judge?
Or Juan Soto.
Well, they don't think Juan Soto.
Well, you know why they don't think that.
Well, yeah, because
they're Yankees.
He spurned them.
Yeah. No, I can't think of anybody, honestly. There's no one else that I wake up and check. You know, Ohtani had me up. No, he didn't have me up at 4. But when I woke up in the morning at like 5 o'clock, I checked on the Dodgers to see what Ohtani had done. But there's no one else that kind of does that. There's no one else.
I'm going to throw you names.
All right.
Just say yes if you kind of buy it.
Okay.
Bobby Witt Jr.
I think he is a local one. He's a local guy.
Vladdy Dottie.
Vladdy Dottie, no. Maybe
a storyline this year because of contract negotiations, but okay. Ronald Acuna Jr.
No, that's it. There are going to be so many. Every sport has like 2 to 3 of them things. Every sport has 2 to 3. Everyone can be a needle mover.
425, you're confusing face of the franchise with needle mover. But would the needle mover not arguably be the guy with the greatest Q rating? I'm thinking of moving the needle as quite literally people that don't typically watch that team know that person, tune in to see what that person's doing, follow news about that person.
I think
he's moving the needle. Like when he does something, more people pay attention than with anyone else.
No, I think our definitions are different. Because needle mover to me
is living up to.
Yeah, it's like I am a superstar. Everyone knows me. You're gonna check up on me. Your grandma knows me. Your little cousins know me. You don't even like sports and you know me.
Someone said Bryce Harper, and I hate Bryce Harper. Did you say Bryce Harper earlier? Because you mentioned his.
I did mention Bryce Harper.
Yeah. Bob mentioned Bryce Harper. Yeah. I don't know. Curtis, is there someone I'm missing? Maybe.
In baseball?
In baseball.
Harper is a good answer. I think that's a really good one. Pitcher-wise, I think Paul Skeens is probably the one that I would be tuning in for at all times. I mean, Trout used to be, but not anymore.
No. Do you need to have a great team to be a needle mover?
I mean, Ohtani was on some pretty awful Angels teams, and Paul Skeens, he's on some pretty bad Pirates teams.
No, you just got to be great.
You clearly don't need to be on the East Coast.
No, just be great. Be great. Be exceptional.
Was Fernando Tatis when he was like with the Padres?
When he was doing his thing, that run, yeah.
Well, not when he was with the Padres, but I mean, like people wondered, like, hey, you're in the 28th market.
Yeah. No, he was moving needles.
Moving needles. Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. We can't just list Dodgers.
No, I don't even think Mookie is, though. I don't think
he is either.
I don't think he is. I don't think Freddie is either.
I think that the Dodgers collectively as a whole,
The brand moves the needle. And now you have the biggest needle mover in the game on the Dodgers.
Yeah, all of a sudden with the Dodgers, it's like you go, oh, well, they're like this boy band taking over the world. But the ranking even within the boy band. You know what I mean? Kevin's last.
It's like who was bigger at one point? Who was the bigger group, NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
NSYNC, I think.
NSYNC. So the Dodgers are NSYNC. And who are the Backstreet Boys? It's the Yankees?
Yankees. I mean, I was a BSB fan. I liked NSYNC, but I personally think Backstreet Boys had a little more well-rounded talent.
Yeah, they were just more mature.
They were just more mature. And then they had Kevin, and Kevin was like 40 the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
Just, it was like for the mom.
NSYNC burned brightest.
Yes.
But Backstreet Boys have had a longer run.
I agree. When you listen back, Backstreet Boys still hits.
Well, Backstreet Boys never had anyone go solo and just kill it. Neither. They didn't have that.
As a group, they were better, but Didn't have the individual talent. They're like the 04 Pistons. Sorry, Bo.
Yeah, it's fine. I get you.
Okay. It's okay.
I get you.
Do you see how quickly I turn in just like for no reason? Just, hey, it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Someone's saying Felix. Was Felix? That feels like a stupid question to ask as a Seattle fan.
I think he was getting the national attention.
I mean, Cy Young. Like, it's hard to say you can't be.
That's a tough one. I think he is, though. Or was. I think he was.
Okay, would you say any of the current starters?
No, not yet.
Which is wild.
Not yet. But there's so much potential. I think that there are athletes all across the world in any league that have mad potential, that you see it and you want to believe in it. You want to believe in their potential, and they show you glimpses of greatness. Like we saw that with Julio. It was like a stretch of 14, 20 games where he's just going nuts. And we're like, there it is. Yeah. He's about to move that needle, and then it fizzles out.
Dang it. Okay. Well, I'm still not accepting that I've lost this argument, but we can move on here. We're going to see if we can get connected with Robert Mays. A question for you. I'm going to ask Robert what he thinks about it, if we're able to get him on. But I was asked earlier, Curtis and I were talking about it. Is it weird that Geno hasn't signed yet? Unless some news broke 5 minutes ago that I didn't see. Someone please let me know. I know that once someone's traded or once someone moves on, there is a good portion of the fan base that goes, okay, I'm done with this person. They're not part of my lexicon anymore. I don't really care. And I do get that. However, just as a general NFL fan and as someone who was surprised by that trade and kind of wants to follow it, I expected a deal long before now.
Yeah, me too. But they're taking their time with it. It's not like he's not going to play for the squad. It's not like he is going to take back his commitment and go elsewhere, because there's nowhere for him to go, honestly. But it comes down to money. And I think that in Geno's position, he has to make sure that he maximizes these next 3 years, because I think it's going to be up in 3 to 4 years. So I think that's what it comes down to. It's Pete Carroll and the gang. They are just trying to get that money right.
Yeah. By the way, earlier in the show, if you missed it, it kicks off hour 2 of the Bump and Stacy podcast. Really good stuff from Sports Illustrated's Conor Orr. The last question that I asked him was, hey, I wonder if there are a lot of fans that, much like Geno, view Sam Darnold as a bridge quarterback, right? You don't go out and draft that guy, so you kind of view him as a bridge or a Band-Aid or what have you. It's not always the case, but I do get this sense from fans that I talk to that that's kind of how they see Sam Darnold. And Conor said, well, give it time. I think a lot of people look at those last 2 games and put a lot of weight on them because it kind of confirmed their fears about Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. But prior to that, he had 15 games where he was part of an MVP conversation.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore both. It's for the people who want to highlight the last 2 games. I asked them to not ignore the first 15. Mm-hmm. For the people who want to ignore the last 2 games, I'm like, hey, you can't do that either, because that's part of his body of work, and he doesn't have a big body of work. He's got that 1 year. So you got to take it into account in its perspective. Like, how are you viewing him? I view him as a work in progress. I know he's 27 years of age, and he's been in the league for a while, but he hasn't had the opportunities to really grow and develop that a lot of these guys have had. So that's the way I see it. I look at those last 2 games and I tell myself, that's going to show up at some point in the season. He's going to have a game where he doesn't look good. He throws interceptions. He can't move the football. Most quarterbacks have those games. That's just part of being an NFL quarterback. But I also feel like he's going to have some of those games where he throws 4 touchdowns and no interceptions, and the run game allows him to blossom and open things up. So you can't ignore it, but you can't let the negative or the positive pigeonhole you. You can't let the negative make you think that's all he is, or the positive. You can't look at that and say that's all he is. He's both of those. He's the guy who can have these great games and look very good, but he's also the guy who seemingly crumbled under pressure. So he's got to work on some stuff.
I will admit that I think I'm someone who needs to train myself to see him as potentially both of those guys, and potentially even the one I don't think he can be. Like I thought good on them for staying really competitive and going cheaper if they weren't going to pay Geno. But I still saw Sam as like, this is, even after them signing Sam Darnold, I thought, well, are they going to draft a quarterback? Are they going to look at 2026? I still, in my mind, was thinking, surely John Schneider wants to add to that group and has his eyes set on, like, who's potentially my franchise guy. And I did not let myself wonder for very long whether it was Sam. So I will admit that I'm one of those people. And I thought that it's why I liked that response from Conor, because I like thoughts that maybe force you to challenge your own and go, well, maybe I should watch Sam a little differently.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go back and rewatch those last 2 games and see how much of it is just awful play by Sam, and there is plenty of it, and how much of it is a bad interior line in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's it's multiple things. The same reasons why he was able to have a lot of success or contributes to his failures as well. Like the offensive line held up a lot, and the play calling helped him. There are also times where the offensive line didn't help, and the play calling didn't help him, and he has to execute. So it's both. I think the best way to approach this year with Sam Darnold is you have to prove it. And because he had that one great year, he put himself in a position to get paid. And people, even if you think that he wasn't worth that, right? He wasn't worth the, $33 million that he's getting per year, you're not the judge of that. The league is. The league tells you what he's worth, and the league said that's what he's worth. So I'm going to I have low expectations, I guess, for Sam as far as him being the quarterback to lead this team and make all these great plays, because I feel like because he has so much stuff to still work on, that he's going to have to be supported properly. If supported properly, like if Geno were supported properly, I think you're going to see some success. But failure is inevitable. He's going to have games where he does not look good. And the I told you so's are going to be flying everywhere. But there are going to be games where he looks great. So that's just the life of a quarterback in sports in general.
Very last point before we keep it moving. Conor also said, hey, personally, I think that Sam makes more sense for Kubiak's offense. Like, you can even objectively look at Geno and say he was a more finished product, that he clearly had more experience in Seattle, but that with this new offensive coordinator, he did prefer Sam Darnold, thought it made a little more sense. Do you?
I think
That's tough.
I think Sam Darnold showed that he can operate this offense. So in that sense, it does make more sense. But I also think that Geno has proven that he can handle, 2 or 3 different coordinators, and I could see him thriving in this offense as well.
I have bad news for the tush push. That's coming up in 15 minutes when we take a look around the NFL. Right now, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the Titans are attending a second private workout with Cam Ward today in Miami. What's the real headline?
Gonna take a wild guess that a second workout leads to a first overall pick.
Yeah, he's going to be the number 1 pick. He should be at least. My question is, was there something that you didn't do or see or say to Cam Ward? Why are you going through a second workout? Are you questioning your pick? Is there someone else you're eyeing? Is it Shadur Sanders? Is it, what's the young man's name? Abdul?
Abdul Carter.
Yeah, Abdul. Like, who is it? What is it? Why are you going back to look at this thing again? Who's questioning this young man, and what questions do you have? Because that's the only reason why you do another workout, is because you missed something. You felt like you want to run it back and cross your T's and dot your I's and make sure that you ask the right questions or get them on the board or something. I have more questions now, and obviously they do too.
I feel like the only way that any team remains intentionally vague is, Chicago, I don't think did. I think that was like the most obvious pick ever in the entire world. This one feels like another obvious pick, but I think sometimes I wonder if teams try to see, like, will someone move heaven and earth? Will someone give us an offer? We simply cannot refuse to move this pick. But you're also in a position, if you're Tennessee, you don't have anyone. And not only that, you haven't had anyone for a minute. Not since, like, a resurgence of Tannehill, maybe? Like, I have no idea.
Mariota?
No?
Yeah.
Like
Tannehill? He led him to the playoffs.
We might be going back to McNair here. It has been a minute since they've had a franchise face, and that could be Cam.
McNair was a MVP at one point.
Yeah.
Co-MVP. Who you shared it with? Brett Favre?
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning? Yeah. Don't complicate this, Tennessee. Just make the right pick.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, in the wake of the Boston Celtics sale, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver had this to say on upcoming, maybe not upcoming expansion, but expansion.
We want to make sure we put teams in a position, particularly as we're setting the price, to be in a position to be competitive, economically successful, and just as importantly for the other teams, successful on the floor. And the issue I would not have anticipated at the time I sort of began talking about the timeline is how much unknown there is about local media right now. Having said that, though, I would just say again to our many fans in Seattle, and I hear from them often, and the legacy of the Sonics is still very strong, and it's a fantastic basketball market, is that we are very focused on it. The fact I think that I'm not being more sort of forthcoming publicly doesn't mean we're not studying it very intensively. We don't take those fans for granted.
So what's the real headline?
Seattle is a dangling carrot, and apparently the NBA will bring basketball back when we're all vegetables.
It sounded like he was rambling and trying to make an excuse. Like when I got a bad grade in school and I'm trying to tell my mom, like, yeah, well, what happened was, man, I missed this class and then I didn't turn this paper in, but she's going to let me turn this paper in. It just sounds like you're making excuses. And I understand there are things that need to happen behind the scenes that I have no idea about. Sure. But it seems like this is a conversation that comes up every single year. And it also feels like Las Vegas is ready to go and then Seattle's ready to go. What is the holdup? And I have no answers for that. And there's obviously a process that needs to be done. I just wish he would give us more. Like, we're close. You know, we got a few more things to do, and we think expansion is on the way. We just don't get that.
Real question, and Curtis, feel free to chime in. What is the idea of what a holdup might be? Is it that owners may not be willing, even though in my mind you seem to financially benefit from more teams, that owners may not be willing to split up more of that revenue? Like, I don't understand.
I mean, they'll divvy up the expansion fee among the 30 existing owners, but also that means, I think, less share of the media rights deal that teams would get. And I mean, these owners count every single penny that comes in.
Yeah.
It
feels short-sighted to not recognize that your media rights could eventually mean more eyes and more markets.
Right. And it's not like, I mean, what's the difference between, you know, $5 billion and $5.5 billion? You know, like, the league's media rights deal is what, $76 million over the next 12 years, something like that. It's ridiculous. Or not 76 million, 76 billion. Like, you're going to be fine. You're not going to sink the league if you add 2 more franchises.
I guess you're right, though. You don't get that rich by not looking at everything and being kind of selfish when you need to be. It's just disheartening because I don't know the math. I am not an economist. It feels like something that would naturally lead to more revenue over time.
Yeah, over time. They're looking at the short term.
Yeah.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3. There was a decent night of Sweet 16 hoops last night. Number 1, Florida advancing to play number 3, Texas Tech. Number 1, Duke going on to play number 2, Alabama in the Elite 8. Got a couple more games tonight. What's the real headline?
There are no Cinderellas remaining, but the battle between mean stepsisters is still pretty solid.
Yeah, it's good. You got some names that you expected to be in the mix still, right? Florida, you got Duke and Bama. That was your pick to win the whole deal, right? Alabama?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. And the college game is reflecting the NBA game now. I was just amazed at how many points are being scored. I have to go back and look. For the past 10 years, it's been around about 75 points scored per game. You got Duke scoring 100. You got Alabama scoring 113. The 3-ball is real, man. So, yeah, it's working out the way that most people expected it to. This is where it kind of gets tough because I know people who pick Duke to win. I pick Auburn to win as well. And then my girl Stacy got Bama.
I don't know why I chose Bama. I did not take more than a split second to decide any of my picks. I chose almost no upsets. And yet, I think the problem is me and Brent, who's our editor, have the same Final Four. So no matter what, even if I get all the rest of it right, it's devastating. I'm devastated. Curtis, are you in line to win? Who's?
So I took an L last night. I had Arizona beating Duke, but
you went with your heart.
I'm tied for first still with Justin. The points, there's a greater point total with each game as the rounds go on. So if you miss one, that could really sink your bracket at this point. Luckily, we're still in first place, and my entire Final Four is still intact. I've got Alabama beating Duke, I've got Florida, Auburn, Alabama, and Houston. Houston's my champ.
Has this been compared to some of the best runs you can think of? A boring March Madness because it's
very chalky.
Is it good because of where some programs are and how dominant some of these programs are?
No, I prefer the chaos.
Yeah.
I prefer the randomness. Just throwing a curveball in there and letting some mid-major kind of shake things up a little bit.
I heard an interesting take, though. I forget who it was, but they were like, yes, this has been a boring tournament, but like when we get down to the Final Four, it's going to be some very talented teams. And if you look at the women's side of the bracket in recent years, you've had the most talented teams, and that has been the best for the women's game. You've had Iowa with Caitlin Clark, LSU with Angel Reese, Paige Beckers at UConn. You've had your superstars reach the pinnacle, or at least get close to it playing in the national championship game. I feel like Cooper Flagg, if he were to get to the national championship game, as much as we hate Duke, it's going to bring a lot of eyes to the national championship game if he's playing against another talented team like an Auburn with John I. Broome or somebody like that.
I know that obviously, Bump, you were at the Mariners game, so you didn't get to watch, except for highlights, much of Cooper Flagg. But did he very clearly establish himself as like, oh yeah, this is the most dominant?
He's been that guy. He's been that guy since he was playing high school ball in Maine. But yeah, he looks good. He looks like the number one pick. I'm just happy that we need an American to establish themselves again. I mean, the last, 4 MVPs have been European, man. Can we get this game back, please?
It's Cooper Flagg.
There you go. Wave that flag.
Plant that, Cooper.
There you go.
Like, just make, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm going to keep it moving.
By the way, Robert Mays moving to 1 p.m.
1 p.m. for Robert Mays. Okay, sounds good. So we will dive back into a conversation about NFL and Seahawks free agency and take a look ahead to the draft coming up at 1 p.m. with Robert Mays. Coming up next, I got bad news for the Tush Push. That's in NFL headlines.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Hello, Seattle. It's your friendly neighbor, the T-Mobile Park roof. From up here, I can see it all. Folks pouring in from the street, the sun setting over the sound, the roar of the crowd as Luis Castillo pumps his fist, and the joy of the J-Rod squad as Julio snares a deep fly ball at the wall.
He reaches up with a leap and he makes the catch!
And all the faces smiling with every perfectly grilled hot dog and swirl of soft serve. When the final out's made, I'll be right up here, lighting the W and soaking it all in. Mariners baseball. Try it inside.
Be here for the Mariners opening homestand at T-Mobile Park. The fun continues all weekend with Randy Arozarena crossed arm hoodie night tonight at 6:40, Hello Kitty bucket hat night tomorrow at 6:40, and Little League Day Sunday at 1:10. Don't miss out. Get your tickets and check out everything on deck at mariners.com.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like fences. A house with a big yard and a white picket fence was always the dream. But then you saw the price to install a fence and you're wondering if the color is driving the price up. Nobody ever dreams of a beige or a gray picket fence, right? So maybe those fences are cheaper. But no, they're not. Then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds and make all your dreams of a fence come true. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's with limited time savings on the supplies pros need. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And don't miss your chance to activate and earn 3 times the points on select DeWalt and Klein tools. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/28. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details on qualifying items.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Before we get to NFL headlines, quickly want to make you guys aware of something. Tonight only, take advantage of a special Big Dumper ticket special. You can get main level seats for $29. It comes with a limited edition Cal Raleigh t-shirt. $29. I don't remember last
They're giving away tickets.
Basically, girl math.
They're paying you to go to the game.
That's exactly what it is. If it's how much might like a main I mean, if we're talking like $50+ off,
yeah,
it's like I made $50. That's how this works.
That's girl math.
Girl math.
Thank you. $29. It comes with a limited edition Cal Raleigh t-shirt.
Wow,
so
that shirt could cost $29. It's free.
Get your tickets.
Y'all selling this, baby.
We really are.
Sell it.
Mariners.com/dumper.
Wait a minute.
Mariners.com/dumper.
There aren't any like pregame festivities I could be a part of, are there, Stacy?
You wait. As part of the festivities, a few lucky fans will be invited on field as Cal receives his American League Platinum Glove Award during the pregame ceremony. So again, 29 doll hairs. You get main level seats, a limited edition Cal Raleigh t-shirt, and as part of pregame festivities, a few lucky fans will be invited as Cal receives his platinum glove. Very cool. Very cool.
Okay.
Now we're moving on. Yeah, now we're moving on to the NFL. The Athletics' Diana Rossini says momentum is gaining to ban the tush push.
The competition committee is going to be meeting on a lot of different rule proposals. And I'm hearing that the tush push is building some momentum. I know we've talked about it here on the show where I said I didn't think that this would probably be the year where I could see change. I feel like it's getting more momentum in terms of those opposed to it than I've ever heard before. Usually it's like everyone's like, nah. There's like those 1 or 2 people that sit on it that are against it. but it's catching fire.
But there was only one team that brought it up. It was the Packers. Now all of a sudden everyone wants to ban it because they can't stop
you were
it.
the one to scream
It's
it
dumb.
doesn't mean you don't. There's some that are probably
That's true.
sitting there like, I don't want to be the one to raise my hand.
The sigh that you heard when she said momentum is gaining to ban the tush push is exactly how I felt.
Yeah, man, this is soft. But again, I try to understand where these guys are coming from. There was a moment in time where you could not push the ball carrier. So the old heads, and the old heads are the owners, they're the typically older men and women. They want to go back to the good old days, and they're tired of Philly exploiting this, I guess. That's the way they look at it. I see them just taking advantage of a rule that's okay, and you can't stop it. There's this guy that plays for Florida. I forgot his name, but he's like 6'4", 464 pounds. They're calling him the tush push stopper. So
maybe.
draft him.
Yeah.
Go get him.
So get him. I think that's my thing with the tush push. You mentioned like it's something every single person can do. I understand that the act itself used to be something that was banned.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason it's actually under consideration right now is not because they're like, we should ban this again. Like, let's be consistent. It's because one team has done it so effectively and other teams haven't.
Yep.
And it feels boring to people that team's so successful.
Do better.
Exactly. Moving on, Deion Sanders joined Skip Bayless's podcast yesterday and said his son Shedeur is open to playing for all teams at the top of the draft.
Shedeur has told me, he's talked to me intently about all the visits he's had with all the teams, so I know where his heart is. I know where he wants to go. If it's New York, it's New York. If it's Tennessee, if it's Cleveland, if it's still the Raiders, if it's New Orleans, if it's any of those teams that are seeking a quarterback, I'm happy with it, man, because I know what he's going to do to the organization. I know what he's going to do.
I know there are always questions anytime a top player's drafted of like, well, would he want to come there? Would he throw a fit? Would it be an issue?
I like that this is his stance because before, about months ago, we heard Deion trying to manipulate where he would go, where he should go, where he wants him to go. But now it's just like, go into the NFL, whoever drafts you. If you are that good, you believe in yourself, make that team better. Obviously, Eli Manning dictated where he wanted to go, and it worked for him. But no, I like this approach. He's in a good place right now. He just got a deal, $54 million over 5 years. His son's about to be in the league. He calls Travis Hunter's son too, so 2 of his sons in there. No, this is good, man. Let the football world take care of what happens, and you just go out there and ball.
Speaking of his other son, Travis Hunter, Conor Orr, another thing that he was predicting was that the Giants would, instead of taking Shedeur Sanders, go with Travis. And then the idea is that you just really target downfield. Like maybe you take another receiver, and your whole thing is we want to get the ball downfield.
Well, Wilson loves the long ball, and if he's a starter there, which we assume, good for him. But no, I think you should go get Shedeur Sanders because you don't have the answer long-term at quarterback. And if it's almost like they're planning on not being good next year, so then they're going to have another shot at this. Yes. So they're going to go and get some weapons to surround the quarterback, and then you go ahead and get him in 2026. But I would just go get Shedeur Sanders and call it good.
Speaking of going to get your quarterback, that's what the Raiders did. Raiders GM John Spytek spoke to the team's website about why Vegas wanted to acquire Geno Smith.
As we got into it and we evaluated the options in free agency, the other players that maybe were available via trade, ultimately we arrived at a spot where we thought adding Geno made a lot of sense for us. It upgraded the position, in our opinion. The compensation from a draft capital standpoint wasn't so costly. I mean, I love my picks more than anybody, and I got to remind Coach Carroll how much I love picks. But listen, we used the late third-round pick to hopefully have our starting quarterback here for years to come, and it was just too good of an opportunity to pass up. So super excited that Geno's here, and can't wait to see what he can give to our offense.
We spend so much time talking about the Seattle angle of this trade for obvious reasons, but I do think most people felt like it was a smart move for Vegas.
Yeah, it is, because you're going with a proven product, and now it's about just helping them out. You could have the same issues here. You can have Geno Smith there, but if you can't protect him, he doesn't have weapons, then what good is he? But it's refreshing to hear someone else talk about Geno that way, because I think you and I have been supporters of Geno and kind of understand what he's going through. So the Raiders are looking at him like a franchise type of quarterback. Good for Geno, but they better get some help. They better protect him, get a defense. It's still a team game, but I think Geno is a good start.
Could teams at the top of the draft be interested in moving back into the first round? NFL Network's Ian Rappaport says Cleveland and the Giants, picks 1 and 3, are 2 teams to watch with Jackson Dart.
But what you might see is one of those teams late in the first round, having traded up, snag one of those quarterbacks. And I know Jackson Dart, as he gets ready for his pro day, has in fact spent extensive time with the Browns, with the Giants, and some others who are trying to learn him and trying to figure out where he slots in. Even if those teams don't take a quarterback in one, there is a chance they could leap up and take one a little later in one.
What do you think the gap is like between Sanders, projected to be the second quarterback, and Dart, projected to be the third? Is it massive? Is it like we're suddenly, as NFL fans, getting hyped about Jackson Dart just because?
I don't think it's massive. I think there's a gap. But I've watched the film on Jackson Dart. He's an NFL-ready quarterback. He's the third best quarterback in this draft for sure. Just Shedeur has done it on a high level at a couple places now with no offensive line, especially at Colorado, and was still able to stand in the pocket and make those throws. Jackson Dart plays in an offense that's it's not too complicated, but he does use the RPO. He's more of a runner. I think he's a better athlete than Shedeur Sanders, but right now I would take Sanders over Dart. And I mean, Sanders is better, but it's not like it's by miles.
Sometimes NFL headlines is going to feel a bit like TMZ Sports, and that's what this is. Spotted at a Chipotle in Cleveland, Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins. Might the Browns be talking to, granted this would be tampering, might the Browns have some interest potentially in acquiring Cousins? They'd already been linked in some random trade rumor that I don't think was true to like Dak Prescott. I don't think these things are actually happening, but I think people are just baffled and confused about what Cleveland might be doing, what they might want, because it's very clear that their most expensive asset is one of their worst. So what do you do?
Cleveland, they don't even know what they want.
No.
They don't. I think we'd have to dig deep and see if Kirk Cousins has any relatives in Cleveland, Ohio. But no, it wouldn't surprise me if they were looking at Kirk Cousins. They should be looking at every available quarterback because they ain't got one over there. They have one who just ruptured his Achilles. It's a bad situation there. We'll see. I think Kurt is open for everything. But he said himself he's going to wait until after the draft to see where teams are before he commits.
Robert Mays joining us top of the hour. Don't go anywhere.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
The NFL is trying to clean up the game. What do they want to emphasize, and how do you feel about it?
The NFL wants to bring in more sportsmanship, and I understand they're saying, look, we want kids watching the game to learn from these guys. And listen, it is a good idea, but the ball player in me says, man, forget all that noise. This is football.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
The smart way to improve home comfort is a new heat pump. New heat pumps from Home Comfort Alliance provide efficient heating and cooling in one unit. Upgrade today and enjoy 18 months same as cash financing and up to 15% off through March. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And with you on our side, we are going to end animal cruelty around the globe. Humane World for Animals, the end of animal cruelty.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's Business Solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Your favorite Seattle sports show is available anywhere you go through the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Full shows and interviews, exclusive video and articles from the home of the Seahawks and Mariners.
I started Davis Law Group in 1994 to fight for the underdog. And as our team has grown, we've stayed true to that mission. Today, Davis Law Group is known for providing excellent service and even better results. Visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com to get your free book on car accident law.
I never considered myself to be a heavy drinker. At first, I only drank with friends, then to get through the day. I hit rock bottom when I realized I was choosing alcohol over my family. That's when I made the call. With my doctor's help, I was diagnosed with alcohol use disorder. Now, I'm getting to the root of my addiction and finding better ways to cope.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found in G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Home Store Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Home Store Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the New Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced New Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the New Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your New Skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the New Skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Tonight only take advantage of a special big dumper ticket special. You can get main level seats for only $29 and it comes with a limited edition Cal Raleigh t-shirt. Get your tickets at mariners.com/dumper. Plus, as part of the festivities, a few lucky fans will be invited onto the field as Cal Raleigh receives his American League Platinum Glove Award during a pregame ceremony. We're going to jump back to the NFL in 15 with the Athletics' Robert Mays. Before we get to it, feel free to join this on the Mac and Jacks text line. What do you want to see from the Mariners for the rest of this opening series? Obviously, this series, we are heading into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so we're not going to be able to react to any more games. When you're back here on Monday, Bump, obviously you're going to have a chance to talk about them. But
by myself.
I know, but all of us are going, going home. We're going to enjoy a weekend of watching Mariners baseball. So let's kind of take a look ahead to the rest of the series, right? And figure out what it is that we're looking for. Again, you can join this conversation, 866-979-3776. it's like burned into my brain. And sometimes, it's like when someone's like, what's the last 4 of your social? And you're like, good question. I wish I could tell you.
Thought you were going to say it. I'm saying, don't do that.
I thought about it.
Don't do that.
What do you want to see from the Mariners during the rest of this opening series? Bump.
I want to see Castillo take the mound today and look like the guy that we know and love when he was at his Mariner prime, right? The controlled guy who's on the mound. But I also want to see, and everyone see this, I got to get Julio going. Got to get him going, right? His right-hand man got it done last night, and then Polanco, the cousin, got it done as well. Julio has to get going, and Castillo just has to look like the rock that we call him, the rock that he is. Defensively, I still want to see these guys play some clean baseball. And let's just get other bats in the order going, right? So, Julio, the rock, defensive play, clean, and come on with a W.
Yeah, I'd love to see Julio not chasing. We spoke with both Gary and David Schoenfeld at the chase rate that he mentioned. We were like, what's just like a stat? Tell us something you're looking for with Julio. And both of them were like, just good decision making. So I know you mentioned like, hey, let's see Julio get going. I'll even take like Julio get going maybe as 1 for 3 with a walk.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like just making some good decisions, not looking like just lost at times at the plate. That's a good series from Julio for me. And I think his career home runs in March and April, maybe 6. So he doesn't usually, as we all know, start off hot. But can he start off smart, making some good decisions? I'll throw in, I so enjoyed watching Ryan Bliss yesterday and really, really thought he added a big spark. And I would just be knowing that this is such an exciting time for him, breaking camp with the club, getting that news, first ever opening day. I would genuinely, from a more sentimental place, just love to see Ryan Bliss have like a great RBI or like a great defensive play. I wrote home run, but I don't know that he'll get one. I'm not really expecting that, but just like a cool play for Ryan Bliss to kind of yesterday was certainly a couple welcome to the league moments, but just a really cool one.
Yeah, I foolishly said he'd be the first one to hit a bomb this year. I was just trying to put good vibes on Ryan Bliss.
And I bought in. I would love to see it.
I just want to see him handle the fastball. Like, conquer your demons.
Yeah.
Right? And every player has their demons. With Julio, it's chasing, being off balance. With Bliss right now, or according to spring training, it's the fastball. Conquer your demons, man. Go out there, stand in the box, and feel good about yourself and get a hold of one. It's almost like if Bliss got a hold of one and it was a line drive and he got out. I'd be like, okay, but look, you believe it now. You felt it. You know you can do this. So, yeah, I'm with that. I'm with everyone conquering their demons. I want to see Cal be solid behind the plate like he usually is. I want to see Rowdy get involved as well because we talked about how important it is that these role players help this squad out. So, yeah, let's get the top of the order and the bottom of the order going. The middle is looking all right now.
866-979-3776. Join the Mac and Jack's text line. What do you want to see for the Mariners for the rest of this opening series? Guys, we're starting small. Only looking one series at a time here just to figure out how we can kind of get this season going. Stolen bases, says the 425, something they really want to see. 509, keeping it simple and honest. Hits. You get a hit. Garver and Julio especially, absolutely. 541, more specific with Julio. I want to see a Julio walk on a full count on a slider that was outside.
I feel that.
Oh, they said the Julio walk on a full count on a slider. They want to see something like that again.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yes, like another kind of like good decision making. I forgot that was what happened last night. I want to see the entire lineup step up when there are 2 outs with runners on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I know that it's because they did eventually take advantage of it yesterday. I'm like, but through 7. Yeah.
Yeah, hit bombs. I just want to see the ball in play, right? I want the Mariners to make the A's make plays, bars. I just want to see them put the ball in play. From all across the lineup. In a perfect world, it'd be nice, right? Everyone gets hit, but we know that's not reality most of the time, especially for this team. So just put the ball in play. Make the A's play defense.
Hitting with runners in scoring position. Yes. Anything from Dan Wilson?
Nah, I mean, what can you?
I don't know.
I put Munoz in when it's time to put him in.
Yeah. I'm so bad with gauging manager decisions.
Well, I think a manager's decision making can best be judged based off of like bullpen decisions. Yeah. I don't know if many people agree with Trent Thornton in that spot last year. Now, Thornton was pretty decent a year ago, but has never really struck me as a guy that it's like, I want him in there in that moment. Like, But also, you're kind of, at this point of the year, you're still kind of figuring everything out. Like, there was no doubt they were going to go to Munoz in the 9th inning, but I don't know if that was necessarily the best option at that time. So kind of wondering maybe what the bullpen decisions look like tonight. What is it, Castillo getting the start? Castillo, he's never really been a guy to go past 7, so we'll probably see the bullpen again tonight.
Joe in Bellevue, I'd like to see a starter win. Hey, look, sometimes the bar is low, okay?
Yeah, I was just asking
Poor
for an
Logan.
early lead.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If we can just hold on to something like after the 4th, that would be awesome.
Solid contact, more walks, and then let's see, Rayleigh, seeing maybe something from Rayleigh. Robles had the sack fly, right?
Yeah.
I thought he had a good moment.
Yeah, he had a good moment.
Yeah. No, really common names that we're all saying. I think we all kind of want to see the same stuff, and we know exactly what we're watching for. Knock on wood. Maybe you're talking on Monday about a series sweep / mop.
Mop.
Before game
Get that
series
mop.
here.
Let's go.
All right. Talking Seahawks, talking draft with the Athletics' Robert Mays next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk. Weekdays 6 to 10.
The Mariners announced the launch of Root Sports Stream app. Access to all Root Sports programming, including Mariners games and other Mariners-related content. No blackouts, no cable or satellite subscription or contract required. That's great news. Oh, this is going to save me some money. Thank you, Mariners. Thank you.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Making fresh produce and food affordable and accessible to all is a mission Safeway is deeply committed to. G. Scott here. Your local Safeway has all the great benefits that SNAP-eligible families love, plus exclusive savings. Right now, save 50% on Fresh Pass memberships, plus get a monthly $5 credit, free unlimited delivery, $10 of free produce, and double rewards. Check out your Safeway For You app for all details and savings, or visit Safeway.com/snap for details.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's with limited time savings on the supplies pros need. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And don't miss your chance to activate and earn 3 times the points on select DeWalt and Klein tools. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/28. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details on qualifying items.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-300-9988. 800-300-9988. Again, that's 800-300-9988.
The Mariners are back in action at T-Mobile Park, and you can be there for big moments all summer long with a Flex membership. Flex plans are perfect for fans who want the freedom to choose their games and seats as they go, while still enjoying all the perks of being a member, like saving 10% or more on tickets with no fees, unlocking access to exclusive pre-sales and year-round discounts, and so much more. Join the squad today at mariners.com/flex.
Cal Raleigh wins it in the 10th inning for the Mariners.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Deion Sanders isn't going anywhere. Primetime and the Buffs reached an agreement today on a 5-year, $54 million contract extension, making Sanders one of the highest-paid coaches in the country. Sanders inherited a 1-win Colorado team in 23 and led them to a 9-win season and a bowl berth by 2024. Coming up later tonight, Game 2 of a 4-game series against the A's. Luis Castillo gets the start. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Host of the Athletic Football Show, it's the Athletics' Robert Mays, joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Robert, how's it going?
Doing well. Appreciate you having me.
We are happy to have you. I am going to start by backtracking a little bit. Obviously, big news for the Seahawks this offseason, trading away Geno Smith, trading away DK Metcalf, and basically the same weekend from Friday to Sunday. It was quite a turn of events for this team. They've had to obviously switch gears, bring in Sam Darnold, brought in a couple free agent wide receivers. With them moving on from Geno, did your perception of what this year would mean for the Seahawks change, and what did you make of the decision?
I think initially upon the trade, it could have been easy to tell yourself, yes, their aspirations for this year are different. They're willing to take a small step back. But the moment that it became clear that Sam Darnold was their alternative plan, I think that you could kind of stray away from that, because Sam Darnold, even if he's a younger quarterback than Geno Smith, you're paying a guy $35 million-ish a year. That's a sign that we still want to be competitive. Like, we're not taking a huge conscious step back here, which I actually do think makes sense, because even if you wanted to get super cheap and young at quarterback, I think that the way that defense played in the back half of last season, the defensive talent they still have on the roster, and what Mike Macdonald is, I feel like the defense would be too good for them to actually tear it down and rebuild. So I can understand wanting to pivot to somebody like Darnold, who still gives you at least sort of a win-now option.
I view Sam Darnold as a win-now option, but also someone who still needs to develop. Stacy and I were having a conversation, and you can't ignore the last 2 games, but you can't ignore the 15 prior to that. What type of leash do you think Sam Darnold has as far as developing, making the right decisions, and do you see him playing out this contract? Because the Seahawks do have an out after, the first year?
I like the fact that they have some flexibility. I still think that paying all that money to him in year one is not the ideal thing. When we sign these contracts, you don't want to be looking at how fast you can get out of them as the first thing after you sign them. And so I assume they want this to work out as a multi-year thing, and that's why you make this move, right? You can save a little bit of money compared to the extension that Geno wanted. You get the third-round pick, and you get 7 years younger. So the hope is you get a little bit more runway at quarterback. My assumption is they're looking at Sam and what he did last year, all the under-center play action, just the infrastructure of that Minnesota offense, and I think combining that with a comfort in what Clint Kubiak is going to want to do. I mean, Clint Kubiak was in San Francisco when Sam Darnold was there 2 years ago. And so they're probably talking themselves into, hey, Sam understands this offense. I think he'll appreciate what we're teaching him within this offense. And the fact that we're getting a third-round pick out of this, $10 million cheaper or whatever the number is with Geno, and we're getting significantly younger, the opportunity cost associated with the position is in our favor here. I'm not sure I agree with landing in that spot, but I can at least understand how the Seahawks are probably thinking about this.
I know there are some teams, when you try to construct a path to the playoffs, it's a little more difficult. You by no means will be disappointing people by telling them you don't see the Seahawks as a serious Super Bowl contender. Don't worry. But is there a path that you could construct that maybe is a little easier than a team like the New York Giants?
Absolutely, I think there is. With the bet you're making, the biggest bet you're making this offseason, in my opinion, outside of the one that you're making on Sam Darnold, based on all the other moves that the Seahawks have made, is that you think that the schematic change on offense is going to get you different results from your offensive line. The way that the Seahawks offense was set up last year when they were throwing the ball, you were putting such a strain on both the quarterback and the offensive line. It's so much shotgun. It's so much drop back. It's a really hard world to live in for an offensive lineman. So I think the talent that you had with that group last year, you're consistently getting the worst versions of those players. If you think by transitioning to this sort of system, that's going to shift, and you can start hiding your offensive line talent a little bit more, we get a better version of Christian Haynes. We get a better version of Oluwatimi. Again, I think that there's a rationality to that I'm not sure I buy, but let's say that does end up being true. Let's say you find a receiver either in the first round or the second round as like an outside option to go along with Kupp and JSN, and let's say you get a version of Sam Darnold that was a little bit closer to the guy we saw for 15 games last year rather than the last 2. That version of the Seahawks, I think, absolutely can be the competitive in the NFC. I just think there's a lot of stuff that has to go right for us to realize that version of this team.
You mentioned the defense and just the potential of that defense. Honestly, I can see them as a top 10, maybe even a top 5 defense. Do you see any places that you feel like need a bit more depth? I look at a couple spots, so I want to know your thoughts.
Yeah, I think that, for them and that second outside corner spot is still something that I would probably think about. I don't have the depth chart in front of me right now, but that would be a spot. I think a little bit of safety depth, somewhere along the way just to give you some flexibility. We've seen Mike McDonald really like to have a bunch of different body types there, and I know that they moved on from a couple guys this offseason. They took a low-cost swing. I can't remember who it was. It's a bigger-bodied safety that might be their third safety. But other than that, it's easy for me to talk myself into this defense, into the personnel and to the guy running it. Now, you said top 5, top 10. I could absolutely see that playing out based on the players they currently have right now.
I wanted to take a look at the rest of the NFC West. All eyes have kind of been on the Rams, whether it was the Matthew Stafford conversation. Obviously, Cooper Kupp now here in Seattle, knocked the playoffs away from the postseason last year. But I have no idea what to expect from the 49ers. Like, they're simultaneously moving on from everyone. Yet when they're healthy, are typically pretty competitive. I'm not sure whether it's bad of me to just look at the Rams. Tell me kind of your outlook on the division. Who's going to be competing with whom, and who's your front runner?
I think I would pick the Rams today just because they've maintained who they were last year. They were a handful of plays away from potentially beating the Eagles in that playoff game. I still have some talent concerns on the back end of the defense. They slow play that defensive back room in a way that kind of leaves me uneasy. If I were a Rams fan, I'm not sure I would sleep very well at night. Running back to Kello Weatherspoon is my other outside corner, but they seem to make it work based on that front. I just think that the upside on the offense is significant. I just think they have so much talent. The path to them being an elite unit on that side of the ball is not hard to see. So the Rams I would put at number one. I don't know what to make from the Niners. I will say that I think sometimes we overstate what these quote-unquote retool seasons are like until we actually look at the players that have been lost or gained. Now, the best-case scenario for something like this is what the Buffalo Bills did last year, where they move on from a lot of aging guys, veterans, players who are expensive and maybe not playing up to that level. You could talk yourself into the Niners being in a similar situation this year. Those guys that they moved on from either weren't contributors to that team last year, or in Deebo Samuel's case, was a significantly diminished version of who he used to be. And so the Niners taking their medicine for a year, they'll probably take a small step back from who they were at the pinnacle of those teams, and they don't have a Josh Allen to lift them like Buffalo does. But the Niners, with a full slate of draft picks, hitting on a couple of those and being competitive very quickly again, I'm not ruling that out at all, because I think we're overstating a little bit who they lost and what sort of contributions they were getting from those players.
Hey, I look at the Hawks receiving core, and I understand it. I feel it. I think Cooper Kupp's going to be fine in this offense if he can stay healthy. I get that Marquez is going to be the down the field type of guy, but I've also heard people kind of question if JSN is ready for the number one spot and if this offense will allow him to put up the numbers that he did last year. How do you think he does in this offense, and do you feel that he's ready to go?
I love him as a player. I just am very curious to see how the roles are going to shake out. You have two guys that you've committed to at that position that are probably best suited as guys who play a decent amount of their snaps in the slot and, even in an optimistic scenario, play a little bit inside out. If you have both of those guys on the same team, now you're going to have to at least ask one of them to kind of step outside of, to me, would be the ideal deployment of that person. It's probably going to be JSN because I do think that he's more capable of doing it, but there's definitely a lot of guesswork involved there. My argument, again, kind of the rationale and maybe the rationalization behind this is, in this offense, I think it's going to be a decent amount of 12 personnel, and so you don't necessarily have the same sort of grouping of receivers that you might in another situation. And I also think that with some of the condensed splits, that we've seen from this offensive system in general, even if you are quote unquote an outside receiver, you can still be running a lot of slot routes. So my assumption is that's how they're thinking about it, because I think that's the argument for how this all comes together in a way that makes the most sense.
A question that could take you to a lot of possible answers, so feel free to rant if you want to. But when you look at the top contenders in the NFC, the teams that you're heading into this year going, I know they're going to be a playoff team. I know that I'm going to be tuning into their games. I know I'm going to be talking about them, on the Athletic Football Show, what have you. What do they have typically that separates them from the rest? And what could Seahawks fans, for instance, a good team, but on the outside looking in, stand to learn in viewing whatever patterns are there?
It's a very interesting question, because I think the answer for the NFC is very different than the answer for the AFC.
Yeah.
In the AFC, we're lifted by elite quarterbacks. You look at the teams that are going to be in the mix there, and you've got guys that are going to be in the MVP conversation almost every single year. In the NFC, and this changes a little bit with Ben Johnson leaving, but the NFC teams that were in the mix last year, those were teams that were lifted by the coaching staff, the scheme, and kind of what the multiplier from their play caller looked like on offense. Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, Ben Johnson in Detroit, Matt LaFleur, and the team that won the Super Bowl, they don't have an elite quarterback, but they have elite talent. That almost feels like an outlier in the NFC. I think a lot of these play calling head coaches and lifters of the roster, that's typically what we've seen come out of the NFC over the last few years. And I think that if you can get a little bit more of that from Clint Kubiak than you got last year, and you can count on Mike McDonald to be it on the defensive side of the ball, there's, at least if you squint, a way to see the Seahawks fitting into that sort of group of teams.
This offense is, like you mentioned, predicated on the run, right? They're trying to hide what their offensive linemen lack in size with their technique and really expanding the defense east and west. If the line were to stay as it is today, and I don't think that obviously it's not going to stay this way, right? They're going to pick some guys, but maybe draft some guys. Do you see the running backs being able to execute this a bit better than last year's scheme? Because the knock that some people have with K9 is that he's not patient enough, right? He's not giving the zone a chance to develop. We saw Zach Charbonnet get downhill a bit quicker. McIntosh showed that he can play as well. Just your thoughts on these running backs and their style of run, and if it fits what you think Kubiak wants to do.
I think that they'll be fine. I think everyone on the offense is well served by the increased connection between the passing game and the running game. It's so funny to me, the fact that Mike McDonald landed on Clint Kubiak as the choice here, because to me, the biggest knock on last year's offense for the Seahawks was that there was a complete divorce between the passing game and the running game. There was no marriage of those two things. The entire principle behind the Kubiak offense is a marriage between those two things. So to see them seek out something that was so drastically different from the offense last year is not surprising. And I think that marriage potentially serves you in a bunch of different areas. It makes the offensive line better, and the hope is that it just makes the running game feel more cohesive to the point that you're getting the best version of the running backs that you're talking about.
Probably stepping outside of Seattle for this one, but Robert, is there a team around the league that either based on free agency, maybe some offseason moves, maybe what you anticipate them doing in the draft, your interest level has like doubled from where you were in entering 2024 to now entering 2025?
I lost you there when you were asking that question.
Sure. Basically, I'm asking if there's a team that entering 2024, you were like, maybe not at the top of your list of things you're paying attention to, that for whatever reason is now closer to the top this year.
I don't know why, but you're just not coming through right now. I'm not sure if it's my service or what, but I can't really hear you.
It's probably just a horrible question, Robert. Maybe the technology is stopping me from asking it all the way. You know what? We're frankly at the end of the segment anyway, so we'll let you go just in case it is a tech thing, and then we'll tell people to check it out. He is the Athletics' Robert Mays. We might have already lost Robert.
Yeah, he's gone.
Oh,
the
no.
wind took him. Gone.
Okay, well,
that bomb cyclone that was supposed to hit us, it's hit him.
The tornado. Know what? Just that actual question, the reason I was asking is I was curious if there were NFC teams. I liked what he said about the conferences. How you win right now in the NFC is elite coaching, scheme, talent, roster. How you win right now in the AFC is elite quarterback.
QBs.
And I was wondering if his answer was going to be an NFC team with a quarterback that was suddenly very intriguing to him. That's why I asked.
Well, I'll answer it.
Yeah.
I'll be that guy.
Sure.
NFC teams that have gained my interest over the past whatever X amount of months, I would look at, honestly, it's the Commanders again, I think.
Yeah.
The Commanders and the Bears, because the Bears made a whole bunch of moves. And if you look at their squad, they have an elite quarterback. I think Caleb is going to take another step next year. They've revamped that offensive line. They've made some other moves there as well. I think they have a true commitment to making sure that Caleb has everything that he needs to succeed. So probably the Chicago Bears. I'm interested in the Commanders because of what they added on offense. How does Deebo Samuel help Jaden Daniels take even another step forward? Like if Deebo's on that team against the who they lose to, Philly, against Philly, what does that look like? So yeah, those teams are probably the most interesting to me. Everyone else, I think you feel like you know what you're gonna get.
Genuine question: does Michael Penix and the Falcons even enter this conversation?
Not yet. I mean, the last Penix played like a game and a half, 2 games last year.
Barely.
It's enough to see that there's some talent there. He made some throws. There was an interception that wasn't on him. He made the Falcons interesting. You got Bijan at the running back spot. You got Drake over there as well at wide out. Kyle Pitts. Yeah, their offense is going to be ready to go. I just got to see more from Michael Penix. It's almost crazy. It's like people are believing, at least locally because of UW, right?
Right.
They're believing more in Michael Penix than they are in Sam Darnold. When Sam Darnold put together a whole year, you've only seen a couple games out of Michael Penix.
It's not a bar, but it's like a fact bar where I was like, you're right, because I am people. That is me. Granted, I fall into that same group of UW alum that are just like, oh, Michael Penix, no, he is perfect.
Yeah.
He will never make a bad pass. And if he does, that receiver was in the wrong place.
Right? It's not his fault.
Yeah. So, but yes, I have that natural thing of, well, what if Michael Penix could be part of that conversation? And then it's like, meanwhile, I look at Sam Darnold and go, oh, maybe he's just a bridge.
Right. It's interesting.
What has he shown except for an MVP caliber
I think
season?
Penix can do it. You know, I just got to see it.
All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, who do you feel will have one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL in 2025?
Naturally, I think we both went to Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, and I think they're going to be great together. You add in a Tutu Atwell over there, and they'll probably draft a receiver
Remember
too.
when JP called you out too? He was like, well, Bump, if they're sending Devontae and they're sending Puka and they're doing this, how do you counter that? You were like,
yeah,
it's a good question.
You pray. You try to confuse your quarterback and you pray. But no, I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and naturally I look there because DK is over there, but I imagine him in that offense, that play-action offense with George Pickens on the outside. These guys combined have 37 big plays in 2024. Now, if they were on the same team and these numbers stayed true, that would be the best duo in the game when it comes to big plays. So they have that working for them. What they have working against them is that their catch rate ain't very good. DK catches 60% of the balls in his career. Last year, he caught 61%, and Pickens caught 59%. They got to get better there, but there are also some things going on at the quarterback spot. You got Fields in for a while. You got Wilson there as well, and they got to get the run game going to help them out. But I'm interested in this because they are your traditional wideouts. Big and DK on the outside. Pickens isn't as thick as DK, but he's a slimmer guy, but he's tall. These are the type of receivers that the Steelers find and they develop and they look really good. So I'm looking at that duo, and I'm assuming Aaron Rodgers is there. That's why I think they could be a great duo. If you got somebody else, you got a rookie or someone else not named Aaron Rodgers, then I might feel a bit different about it.
Second down. Stick with wide receivers here. Who's a wideout you feel needs a job ASAP?
This man did not play in 2024. Just a few years ago, he had 103 catches, 1,038 yards, about 9 to 10 touchdowns. Hunter Renfrow. And the reason why he didn't play last year, he's been banged up, so he's trying to get healthy. He's not even 30 yet, and it's almost like the league is ready to get rid of him. But he is a perfect number 3 receiver, a guy that'll give you 30 to 40 catches. I'm not going to ask him to go 103 and 1,000 yards again. Give him 50 to 60 targets. He'll catch the ball about 45 to 50 times, and he'll be good to go. I think teams that are bringing in a young quarterback and need that just for sure hands type of guy, a guy who can work in the slot and get open. Teams like Tennessee, we assume they're going to draft a quarterback. Don't mess this up, Titans. Teams like even the Cleveland Browns, we'll see what they do with their quarterback spot. But he's a nice little third receiving option, and it baffles me that he didn't play. And apparently he was healthy. Start of the season, he wasn't healthy, but apparently he was healthy and did not get picked up. If I'm a team that has a young quarterback looking for a number 3 guy, why not take a chance on Hunter Renfrow? I think he can place the ball, and he got paid that year too. And
it's wild.
And just fell off.
I honestly, it fell off. It like in my mind as well. When you said Hunter Renfrow earlier, I was like, oh yeah, Hunter.
Yeah.
I just completely. He was not in my NFL vocabulary for last year.
Forgot about Dre.
I know. I really did. Third down. What's the best way to grow football internationally?
International.
Mr.
Olympics. Worldwide. Pitbull. Noah. Do you know who Pitbull is?
I know Pitbull.
Okay,
I'm
just
not
check.
Noah, but I know
Oh,
Pitbull.
I'm sorry.
Ian.
Ian, my bad, dog. Gosh,
You're
darn
good,
it.
you're good.
That's why you looked at me
No,
like
that's
that.
okay. Ian, I will let you know. I
get y'all
think I
mixed-
called Noah Ian.
We flipped up plenty of times.
Yeah.
Ian, do you know who Pitbull is? Yes,
Oh, yeah,
you do.
Mr. 305.
Mr. 305, all right. Lost my train of thought. Oh, international. So this is how you grow the game, all right? I'm calling my guy the wrong name. Goodness gracious. This is how you expand the game. It's just flag football. I saw this clip in Italy where these kids are playing flag football with full football gear on, and it made no sense to me. Like, what are we doing? Take the gear off and let these kids just run around and have some fun, man. This is how you grow the game. And I've seen the young ladies expand this game too, man. Down south, the Seahawks do a great job of supporting girls football in high school. Lincoln has a good flag football team for girls. Mario Bailey does a great job in the community as well, kind of pushing the game forward. He works for the Seahawks. Yeah, it's that's how you do it, because you don't need 6'6", 300-pounders on a football field, on a flag football field. Everyone can play, so this is how you do it. And in 2028, my goal is to be a part of the Olympics, whether that's a referee, calling games, whatever, man. I just want to be a part of this because I think that there's some real potential there. Flag football is the way to go. That's how you grow it.
Also, make it a sanctioned sport in Washington State. Last time it failed that vote, and it was so close. It was like 27-26, something really, really close. And I think a lot of people in the sports world, I remember us talking about it. You were talking about it at the time, saying it was disappointing to see because you had been on top of, like, I'm telling you, this is like a really cool venue. It's especially great for young girls. And yeah, so WIAA. Make it right.
Make it happen.
Make it right.
Chamon.
Fourth down. Change up. What's the best thing you saw at the Mariners game last night?
I saw a few things. One, big ups to my guy Jeff, a random guy I met. I walk into the ballpark. I'm Dolo. I grab me a Modelo, and I go down the third base line. I'm standing there, and there's this guy next to me. I'm like, what's up, man? How you doing? We just start talking. He goes, yeah, I'm from Yakima. I came over for the game, and we're just two bros.
Yeah.
Just
Dudes
broing
being
out.
guys.
You know, just talking about life. And he used to play football, and he was a center, but he said he was too lazy, didn't like to practice. I'm like, man, I feel you, man. Football's tough, you know? And we were there when Logan gets hit by the ball. We're like, oh, man, you know, we kind of grab the person next to you, like, oh, man, that hurt.
So you're grabbing each other.
I grab Jeff, he grabs me. We're like, oh, man, what's going on? So I hang out for a few innings, and then I move along. So then I make my way around to like the Edgar's area, and the first thing I see is a woman your size trying to throw hands with like a 6'3" dude.
Don't do it.
And I look at her, I go, you good, man? Just calm down. And she gave me that look like, I don't see you, I don't know you, don't talk to me. I said, okay, and I'm moving on. So then I make my way over to the beer garden where all the young people are at partying and stuff. Stayed there for a minute, got a little crazy. Then I moved. I went to center field over there, stood behind Julio and watched that for a bit. Made my lap all the way around. By the end of the game, it was a good situation last night.
Solid outing.
Solid.
I hope that Jeff becomes a gold standard for just how people treat you as friends in the future. Like, even though you guys had maybe 30 minutes of being friends before you went on never to reunite ever again. I hope that it's like me and Curtis say something and you're like, Jeff would never do this.
Jeff would never do that to me.
Jeff would never say that to me.
No.
Ever. Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners, of course. Luis Castillo gets the start as the M's take on the A's for Game 2 of a 4-game series. 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Pregame show starts at 5:30. Coming up next, we'll go back to what Robert Mays said about a realistic path to the playoffs for the Seahawks.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
The Mariners making a move to lock up part of their core. In Cal Raleigh, this is somebody you drafted, you developed, one of the great catchers in the game. You keep that guy around. He's a leader in the clubhouse. He's everything you'd want in a player. He's everything you'd hope when you draft a young player that they're going to turn into something close to this. And you got it.
Cal could probably get a lot more money on the open market, but he wants to stay here. I think Mariner fans are going to love him forever.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Music that moves your soul. Cheerio, baby. Live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, April 24th. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Discover LeBay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. It's Bob Stelton here, and I love that slogan. If you're looking to replace your aging roof, check out Asset Roofing at assetroofingco.com.
Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found at G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news about Swedish adding a second Cyberknife in Seattle. Cyberknife is a non-invasive, extremely precise prostate cancer radiotherapy treatment. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the Cyberknife treatment period is much shorter, typically 5 days with daily sessions under an hour. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife prostate.
Maybe it was a family vacation or a school field trip. But there you were, standing in awe at a national park. We are the National Park Foundation, and together with you, we're creating a future where every person, every generation, gets their chance at an unforgettable moment. Today, tomorrow, forever. Learn more at nationalparks.org/foundation.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
What I need to know coming your way in 15. Get your questions in now to the Mac and Jack's text line 866-979-3776. We're going to react in just a minute to our question to Robert Mays. Hey, what's a realistic path for the Seahawks to actually get to the playoffs in 2025? Like, what does that look like? What needs to happen? We'll tell you what Robert said in a second. Before we do, we were talking about some baseball park food during the break, and I looked up, courtesy New York Post, just some of like the weirder selections / more excessive selections at ballparks around the league yesterday for opening day. Just a yes or no, whether you guys would. Forget the price, okay? Money is no issue here.
Okay.
Whether or not you would eat this or think you could eat this.
Okay.
Okay. So for the Arizona Diamondbacks, they have the Grand Slam Witch. It is part chicken parmesan, part Italian meatball with tomato sauce, provolone, pesto, parmesan, side of kettle chips.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I could mess with that.
Murder
yeah.
that.
I mean,
When you said Grand
meatball chicken
Slamwich,
parm.
I thought it was going to be like a Denny's Grand Slam in between two
Fair
buns.
assumption to make. Okay. The G Burrito sandwich for the Chicago Cubs. It's a fried plantain sandwich. So you've got roast beef, garlic butter, lettuce, tomato, garlic aioli between two smashed and fried plantains.
No.
No?
Not touching it.
I'd have a bite.
I'd have a bite.
I don't think I'd finish it.
Yeah,
Be interesting. One Curtis mentioned during the break, the Yankees debuted tiramisu in a helmet. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's crazy about that other than it's in a helmet? Tiramisu's delicious.
I think you'd have to share it, though. That's a helmet's worth of tiramisu is a lot.
I think it's like a mini helmet, like a mini baby helmet.
If it's one of those little ones that you can hold in your hand,
Yeah.
sure. But if it's one of those where you got to two-hand it, kind of like the helmet nachos at T-Mobile Park,
Or you can stay
I don't think
strong.
anybody can do that.
You can stay strong. The Slugger for the Dodgers, a 16-inch jalapeno cheddar sausage topped with corn relish, white cheddar cheese sauce, cilantro crema, crunchy tortilla chips, served with fries.
That's
this is-
too much.
16 inches is a lot of sausage.
That's a lot of dog.
That's a lot of dog.
That's a lot of
Foot
dog.
and a half a dog.
Don't do dogs anyway.
The Mariners' What Up Corn Dog made this list. Did you try
It's
that?
like
Did you see people eating
blue,
that?
isn't
It's
it, or
blue.
green? Yeah.
I didn't see that last night.
Okay, so we said yes to most of them.
Yeah, give it a try.
Yeah. Honestly, I rarely will hear about ballpark food that I think I wouldn't try. Most of it's just like I would never finish. I could never.
I just
finish
want to
that.
know like what the brainstorming sessions are like for all these menu items.
Oh, it's
like
just-
is there just a giant, office? It's like a office room setting, and it's like Jenkins, you have 5 meals you need to brainstorm before tomorrow.
I think it's got to be like, you know how in improv it's yes and you just go around the table and you go, okay, start
Add
with the food item,
ingredients.
start with the food. And it's like
Fried
hot
plantains.
Dog. Yes. Hot dog. Okay. Yes. And kettle chips. Okay. Yes. And tomato sauce. And then they just keep it going. And they're like, what do we do? What do we do? Keep it moving.
It's the most unique food in this country. It's the ballpark food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't get it anywhere else.
No. Do they still sell the crickets?
I believe so.
And this might have been football, the cotton candy burrito. That might have been football.
I think that was the Arizona Cardinals.
What's going on in Arizona?
Burrito.
I mean, everybody's indoors.
Yeah.
you gotta spend some time innovating.
Speaking of the Mariners, tonight only take advantage of a special big dumper ticket special. You can get main level seats for $29, and it comes with a limited edition Cal Raleigh t-shirt. Get your tickets at mariners.com/dumper. Plus, as part of the festivities, a few lucky fans will be invited on field as Cal receives his American League Platinum Glove Award during a pre-game ceremony. Let's jump to something we learned from Robert Mays quickly here. We asked Robert, hey, what's the realistic path to the playoffs for the Seahawks this year?
Absolutely, I think there is. With the bet you're making, the biggest bet you're making this offseason, in my opinion, outside of the one that you're making on Sam Darnold, based on all the other moves that the Seahawks have made, is that you think that the schematic change on offense is going to get you different results from your offensive line. The way that the Seahawks offense was set up last year when they were throwing the ball, you were putting such a strain on both the quarterback and the offensive line. It's so much shotgun. It's so much drop back. It's a really hard world to live in for an offensive lineman. So I think the talent that you had with that group last year, you're consistently getting the worst versions of those players. If you think by transitioning to this sort of system, that's going to shift, and you can start hiding your offensive line talent a little bit more, we get a better version of Christian Haynes. We get a better version of Timmy. Again, I think that there's a rationality to that I'm not sure I buy, but let's say that does end up being true. Let's say you find a receiver either in the first round or the second round as like an outside option to go along with Kupp and JSN. And let's say you get a version of Sam Darnold that was a little bit closer to the guy we saw for 15 games last year rather than the last 2. That version of the Seahawks, I think, absolutely can be the competitive in the NFC. I just think there's a lot of stuff that has to go right for us to realize that version of this team.
And a lot of stuff to take away from Robert there. Let's start with his biggest and main point, Bump. He says the biggest bet the Seahawks are making, forget Sam Darnold, forget that they can win without Geno. The biggest bet they're making is the schematic change gets more out of that offense and that offensive line.
Yeah, you're trying to cover some stuff up or just put your players in a better position to have success because you're not going to be able to get 5 new offensive linemen and say, let's start from scratch. You don't have to, and you're not going to be able to. So what do? You're bringing an offense that you feel like helps a smaller Christian Haynes, as he mentions, helps a Oluwatimi who's light in the feet, right? And you bring in a guard who can help out as well. That's just good coaching to me. I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to force you to be something that you're not. I'm not going to force you to do something you're not great at. Let's bring in an offense that highlights some of the physical attributes of these offensive linemen. That is just good coaching right there.
Do you think that's honestly, once he said it that way, ironically, you've talked about this quite a bit, but I always go to quarterback first. Maybe it's just coming from a fan perspective as opposed to a player, right? You see the game differently. You start by watching the football and watching the quarterback and then have to learn from there. But I still see quarterback first. And so I just thought, the bet is they can win with Sam Howell. But that's not really it.
No, you can win with Sam Howell, but Sam Howell can win, or can only win, I think, when he has a line and some weapons.
Exactly.
He's not the guy to take over a ball game. He will have his moments. He'll have his moments where he'll throw 3 or 4 touchdowns and look great, or he'll complete 5-6 passes in a row and you feel good about it. But he's not going to have the type of run that Lamar and Josh and Pat Mahomes have, or even a Geno. Honestly, man, Geno had some runs where he's making these ridiculous throws, standing in the pocket that's collapsing all around him. I don't expect Sam to do that, but the great thing is, I don't think he has to do that. You just have a few moments and you'll be fine. If you're able to get those running backs going and play solid defense, you're good. I think he said, in the NFC, it's about the complete team. Offense, defense, specials. AFC, it's about the quarterback. If he were in the AFC, I'd say, man, it's going to be tough for you. And it's going to be tough either way because this is the NFL. But the NFC is built a bit different, and he is built like an NFC quarterback.
Weird question. If what Robert says is true, look, their best path to the playoffs is that the bet they're making about a schematic change, getting more out of everything, is right. Are we putting too much on Clint Kubiak's shoulders?
We're putting a lot. We're putting a lot because that side of the ball needed the most work. That side of the ball caused the most frustration when it comes to Mike McDonald. The defensive side, I think, is going to be fine. So, yeah, there's some pressure on him, and I think Kubiak feels that pressure. But, I mean, there's pressure all around this organization. But it does feel like we're setting up Kubiak, like, please save us. Be that guy, please.
And again, if you go back and you watch the first 2 games of the season for the Saints, you're going to feel like he can be that guy. And it's so hard to take a look at the rest of the season. Bump, I know you watch tape and figure out, well, is the issue, falling behind in games and that classic Shanahan, it's just hard to catch up, or is the issue that you are losing players left and right?
It's combo.
It's combo.
It's a combo.
It's hard to tell. I don't know. I feel like there's so much riding on Clint this year. All right, get your questions in for What I Need to Know. Any question you have, text it now to the Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. Again, any question, text it now. Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. What I Need to Know, coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
The Mariners making a move to lock up part of their core in Cal Raleigh. This is somebody you drafted, you developed, one of the great catchers in the game. You keep that guy around. He's a leader in the clubhouse. He's everything you'd want in a player. He's everything you'd hope when you draft a young player that they're going to turn into something close to this. And you got it.
Cal could probably get a lot more money on the open market, but he wants to stay here. I think Mariner fans are going to love him forever.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus here to talk to you about Silver Reef Casino. I'm actually going there this weekend, and when I check in, I cannot wait to check out their Deluxe King room. I'm going to drop my bags off and go downstairs and visit some of their great restaurants. They have one of the best steakhouses north of Seattle, and if you're feeling a little fiesta, you can join the new Cantina. And when I'm done, I got to watch some basketball. March Madness is going down. I'm going to visit Portage Bay Sports Bar. And if the weather's good, I'm bringing my sticks. I'm going to go to Loomis Trail Golf Course, hit the range, visit the clubhouse. They got something to do at Silver Reef Casino Resort. If you're getting some FOMO, don't worry about it. Visit silverreefcasino.com, book your stay today, and you might run into your boy.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location
station near you.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
I thought it was a rash, but my doctor said it was a tick bite.
Ticks can spread Lyme disease and other illnesses, leading to chronic health issues.
My brother was always having asthma flare-ups. A roach problem at home was causing it.
Allergens left behind by roaches and rodents are a major driver of asthma attacks.
When I had a fever and body aches, I never thought it was West Nile virus.
Mosquitoes breed in standing water and can spread serious diseases. Get the facts at pestworld.org. A public service message brought to you by the National Pest Management Association.
Bonneville, Seattle, and Seattle Sports are looking for organizations that regularly distribute information about employment opportunities to job applicants or have job applicants to refer. If your organization would like to receive notifications of job vacancies, please notify Human Resources at 1820 Eastlake Avenue East, Seattle, Washington 98102, or email us at seattlealljobs@bonneville.com or call 206-726-6902. Bonneville is an equal opportunity employer.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
We know choosing the right team to upgrade your windows and doors is a big decision. That's why we deliver a service that treats your home like ours and offer top quality products. Our windows are up to 25% more energy efficient than Energy Star standards, reduce noise by up to 50%, and have low maintenance clean glass technology. Our industry-leading leak armor installation and lifetime warranties mean peace of mind and enjoyment for life. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Lee Johnson Auto family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto family, and it's not just a name, it's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family, to work together, to really become close, and they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No, no place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Are insurance companies taking you for a ride? Literally? Don't let them destroy your financial future. If you've been in a car crash, Just Cause Legal is your weapon against greedy insurers. They don't care about you, but Just Cause Legal does. Time is running out. Get the compensation you deserve. Call 253-859-8899 now or visit justcauselegal.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Take back control and fight for what's yours. Meet your legal lifesavers. Just Cause Legal, fighting for you.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions into the Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. What I need to know, says the 253. You can add only one former Mariner in their prime to this roster. Who is it?
To this roster.
What if I take Griffey off the table?
I'm going to say it's Griffey all day.
I'm taking Griffey off the table. You can add one Mariner in his prime to this roster.
Edgar. He's already on the roster, kind of.
Guys.
Ichiro, also still on the team.
Fun. Curtis.
Alex Rodriguez.
Oh,
duh.
Yes.
56 home runs, MVP. Yeah.
See, what did I say? We forget. We forget.
They scrub him.
8-6.
He played here.
I know.
I don't know if you guys know that.
What?
I don't know if anybody knows that. You wouldn't know walking around that ballpark, but Alex Rodriguez was a Seattle Mariner.
866-979-3776. What I need to know. So we talked about mover needles. They said mover needle. We talked about needle movers earlier. We debated whether or not Julio Rodriguez is a needle mover. Fun debate. Text line mostly sided with you, I will say. Someone said, I need to know your opinions on what Julio would actually need to do to become that needle mover or mover needle. They joked, will the new offensive scheme help that? But, I mean, they're being serious, but we had been talking about
35 bombs, 35, 40 bombs, about 35 stolen bags, and just clutch moments. He's got to have postseason clutch moments.
Yes. I think that what he needs to do to move the needle, no one cares. Cal's a catcher, so it's a bit different, right? You always expect the batting average to be lower, but like when people think of Cal, they think of him hitting a home run to send the Mariners to the playoffs, or they think of him hitting a grand slam, or they think of him just coming through in a clutch moment. It's probably like 3 that you could think of quickly, at least 2 that you can think of. Julio has had that moment. Like, he had a great clutch moment in his rookie season against the Rangers, but you're right. Like, he wouldn't even need to hit, he could hit 250, which would not be good. It wouldn't be as high as last season, but if he had walk-off grand slam against the Astros, right? Just a couple moments, particularly late.
Yeah.
That's a needle mover. 866-979-3776. Get your questions in. Let's see. Someone said, I'm moving to Colorado for a few years next week. Should I adopt Denver teams as second faves while I'm there? Like Bump has, they said.
I've lived here for 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years I've been in this state.
And you played for 2 of them.
Yeah, and I played. Come on now. Come on.
I think.
No. For a couple years, no.
If you want to adopt the Rockies as your National League team, by all means, go ahead. They need the support.
Controversial question. There are some people, all of my teams are where I grew up or where I went to school. I don't have any teams outside of that. And that's primarily Bump and Curtis. Ian, I'm assuming you too. I know people, except for Ian has Boston.
Yeah, I got family stuff.
See, that's the thing. See, then I know people like Ian. Then I know people that are like, oh, well, like my family's kind of from here.
It's not Ian.
It's Noah. When is it appropriate to adopt a new team? Under what circumstances can you have a team where it's a city that you did not grow up and you did not go to college
If you've lived there long enough to have kids and raise them.
Okay.
Or if your hometown team just doesn't exist. Like, I'm not a Sonics fan because they left when I was 6 years old.
Sure, very fair.
Yep, like that.
Yeah, I think it's got to be, like, you could be a Huskies fan not having gone to UW, but let's say you grew up here, it's your regional school, and you remember a great era of Huskies football. Sure, I don't care if you didn't go there.
Yeah, but I like to use that in arguments when we get into Huskies.
Yeah,
did you go there?
Let's see. What are your thoughts on the 5-second rule, says the 206?
5-second rule.
I guess
like
just,
when
it's
a
good rule.
against the ground, yeah. You want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
My Uncle Larry, love that guy. We're at a barbecue, cookout, excuse me, my peoples. And he dropped something. And he yells, 30-second rule. I'm like, 30 seconds?
30.
Uncle Larry.
Classic Uncle Larry.
Uncle Larry.
No.
30. Me and my cousins looked at each other like, nah, bruh.
No.
30? That thing is done.
30-second
30-second rule.
Frankly, you guys aren't ready to hear me say this, but the 5-second rule shouldn't exist. When food touches it, there is no such rule.
It's all mental. It's all mental.
When food touches the ground, you can eat it if you want. It's probably not going to kill you, but it is damaged. There is no, like, if you pick it up quickly enough, it's
False.
done. It is done.
False.
Now, if you want to lick the floor, that's the same as eating that. Whatever you just picked up off the floor, go ahead and lick the floor.
Nah, because not all of it has touched the floor.
That's not true.
You know?
That's not true. The second it comes into contact with the ground, it is contaminated. It's a split-second rule. But if you're like, well, it's my kitchen floor, it's not dirty, I just cleaned them, I don't care. And I paid a lot for this.
Hey. I'm on it.
30-second rule is
It depends on what it is,
That's
too. If it's just
reckless.
bomb and I really want it,
Yeah.
I'm eating it.
30-second rule is this close to just eating off the floor.
30-second rule?
The confidence. The confidence. Let's see. What I need to know. Someone just sent in a joke. Where do baseball players keep their mitts when they drive?
Where?
Anyone want to guess?
When they drive.
Where do baseball players
I
keep
read the
their
text.
mitts when they drive?
In the glove compartment.
Yes.
Let's
Hey.
go. I love when my kids have those popsicles with jokes on it. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to get this. They think I'm like the wittiest man alive when I figure those things out.
Willa has done this great thing where she kind of understands like the cadence of a joke, but doesn't understand like it has to make sense. So she'll be like, Daddy,
Yeah.
what did the glasses, because she's looking at me, say to the couch? TV. It's like,
It's
Hey, I'd be rolling.
Get it.
Yeah.
You get it or you don't.
yeah, it's like, yeah.
509. What I need to know, says the 509. So I'm Greek, and we talk a lot in a very, what I call passionate, honest discussion style of way with a lot of interrupting people. Am I Greek? Without noticing, sometimes taking over conversations. Oh my God. Not to mention loud. Other people who aren't familiar with that culture think I argue with everyone just for the sake of arguing. Do any one of you run into that issue where people don't understand a cultural difference?
Yeah. My people, we loud. And we just talk loud. You know what I'm saying? And and sometimes people might think it's like inappropriate. Like, why are you talking? So I'm like, oh, that's just how we communicate sometimes. We are typically loud. So I don't know. That's it's not something they misinterpret, but they're like, why?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, we're just loud. That's what we do.
I identified with I already said it yesterday, so it's repetitive, but like, I think crosstalk is more common among women.
Yeah.
And so most men I've known have pointed out, like even like co-hosts, friends have been like, oh, you kind of interrupted me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But it's not at all uncommon with my friends and my sister.
No.
So.
My brother-in-law speaks Russian. And he'll get on the phone with his mom and he'll be talking. I'm like, dog, is everything okay? He goes, no, I just said I love you. Have a good day. I'm like, it didn't sound like that, dude.
Russian, I'll put German up there too. Top 5 angriest sounding
Yeah, it
languages.
sounds angry.
Like, it sounds like, did you just fight with your parents?
Yeah.
No, I just said I love you so much. How's mom?
For real.
Hope everything's well. Miss you guys. And you're like, it didn't sound like that at all. All right. Well, that will do it for us today. If you missed any part of the show, make sure you check out the Bump and Stacy podcast. You can find that on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or SeattleSports.com. For Bump, Curtis, Ian, thank you for helping out. I'm Stacy Ross. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
The Mariners making a move to lock up part of their core in Cal Raleigh. This is somebody you drafted, you developed, one of the great catchers in the game. You keep that guy around. He's a leader in the clubhouse. He's everything you'd want in a player. He's everything you'd hope when you draft a young player that they're going to turn into something close to this. And you got it.
Cal could probably get a lot more money on the open market, but he wants to stay here. I think Mariner fans are going to love him forever.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
I'm rehearsing. There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on there.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line. Additional terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Pizza Hut's fan favorite Cheesy Bites pizza is back. For just $15.99, get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. Plus the new Ranch Lovers Flight with ultimate chipotle and pepperoni ranch dips. Order now at pizzahut.com.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking. By you. Donate at V.org. Because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
You'll be sorry.